All right, everyone. How you guys doing? Welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, Season 2, Episode 64. Jake is not here today. He did stop in early just to let us know, hey, because of PAX East and everything going on, he's trying to go to bed super early so he can get really bricked up over the weekend. So, gonna have a good time. Josh is all confused over there. He's like, what is going on?
What did I step into?
Yeah, Jake's not here, or it'd probably be much worse. He loves to get real bricked up every show. Don't ask.
Like Mario bricks, right? That's what it's referring to.
Sure.
Totally.
Sure.
I hope.
Anyways, guys, we have a pretty good show today. We're going to be talking about some Princess Peach Showtime stuff because it is launch week. So I don't know how long we'll talk about it. Kind of depends on where the conversation goes. Because I know some people aren't excited, Andres. And that's okay. That's okay. We're also going to talk a little bit about some Switch 2 stuff because there's a few rumors that kind of cropped up over the last week. And then, hey, it is our 64th episode, so we're going to talk about some N64 goodness. Because why not go a little retro? Why not? It feels like we need a little bit of retroness before we get to the end of Season 2. So we're going to start the way that we do every single time. We go around the room, introduce everyone, and what have they been playing lately. Let's start with our first-timer guest, Josh from the BitBlog.
I'm a Nintendo Prime virgin, and I hope that you're all gentle with me here. What have I been playing?
Yeah.
I have been playing Splatoon 3's Salmon Run mode a lot. I'm kind of addicted to it. I really like it. I think it's the best mode in the game. Although I'm kind of like mid-tier at it, but I'm getting better. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. Ironically enough, and I guess we'll talk about this later, I've been playing some of the N64 stuff on the Switch Online app. Mario Party, classic Mario Party. So yeah, just revving up for that amazing game of the year with Princess Peach.
Nice.
You ready for that?
I'm pretty excited. Nice. Andres, what have you been playing lately, bud?
I'm still playing Elden Ring.
Hell yeah. How's it going?
I got my third Great Rune yesterday evening. I defeated Rodan, the giant dude on the dead moving horse in the red desert.
Yes,
I know. I took advantage of all of my little helper friends, and that was fun. But yeah, I've been having a good time with it. I don't just go straight to the main quest. Like I definitely go off the beaten path a lot. Like I made sure to kind of dominate the Dragon's Barrow area first, and so that's been kind of a bit of a good time. I hear some Zelda going on right now. It's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just heard the music?
No, I didn't just hear it.
Okay.
It's been like
might be a little too loud. I can turn it down a bit.
It's been a little in and out. Yeah. But
I see.
Yeah.
I see. It's in and out. Okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Elden Ring's been awesome. So,
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, you're literally playing right now.
I am. Because I am playing Tears of the Kingdom. I think I am on my last light route. So that's why I'm kind of just trying to power through this.
I need to
and
get it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
Plus,
doing.
we're not to the N64 topic yet.
There
So
is that.
you got a little time. You got a little
I'll make sure I open my mouth quite a bit until then.
shut up, Eric. You're talking too much. Mike, wait, where do those glasses come from?
They look
What
pretty
just
fresh.
happened? You just transformed. Are you
They
a kid or a
are.
squid?
They're blue light glasses to block the blue light so that I can see you guys.
But
up
they're
here.
very bold.
Yeah.
very
They
bold.
make a statement a little bit.
I like the yellow highlights. They look pretty cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, these are the Mike Odyssey show glasses. They'll be making more appearances in later shows. So yeah, they are for sale. It's sponsored. Yeah, that's what they are.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it. You're making a fashion statement. I was wondering if you got some tips from JT Shine over there.
I bought it for $2 at Amazon. They're $2 on Amazon. $2. You know.
I was gonna say they're kind of giving some cool Splatoon vibes.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Back
why
to
I said, are you
Splatoon.
kid or a squid? What's going on?
I bought them as what do you call that? Like to see how they look, see how they fit, and so that hopefully later on I can start my own gaming glasses kind of feel. So making sure that I can, why and it's kind of fitting because I am legally blind, so kind of a blind person selling you glasses. It's kind of
Looking good.
Okay.
Yeah. But they
What
were
get confused is that when you're blind, that doesn't necessarily mean you just see like black. Like there's
like
there's a spectrum.
I'm completely blind in this eye, and what I see is just like a blanket of blur. So it's not necessarily dark.
Pitch
There are
black.
people who see just dark because it's just they have the.
Can you tell if there's like a light? Like if you turn let's say that the eye that's completely blind, right? If you were to have that eye open and you were to turn off the lights and turn it on, would you be able to tell?
Yeah, I can see. I can tell as if it's dark or
But
not.
you wouldn't be able to distinguish anything else beyond that, though.
No, just a whole bunch of like if I see like a big giant, it has to be like a really fat person that wearing like red or blue or red that I can tell the color. But that's it. Big shapes like cars and stuff, I can see like the shape of it. I don't know if it's a car or not, but I can see the shape.
That's just me, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm trying to take care of that. I'm trying to slim down so I look more like a stick.
You see the green, right? The bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it's not, I mean, I'm used to it. This is my good eye. I got my cornea transplant, so it's good.
Were you born like that, Mike, or was this something happened?
It happened in my teens, so it's like it's called keratoconus. It's like 1 in 2,000 or 5,000 people have it. It slowly takes your cornea, which is like the round part of your eye, the top of your eye, and it kind of morphs it into an oval, like an egg shape instead of round. So the more it turns into an egg, the light comes in and doesn't go in right into the lens and makes everything blur up. It progresses to a point where the cornea itself can actually have a scar, and if that happens or it breaks, then you need a cornea transplant. And so I've already had one on this eye. They told me I can't do one this one because this one's too far gone. But this one is good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
What I've been playing lately, Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 16, is it 16?
16.
16. That's the one that just came out, right? 16.
Something like that.
No, Rebirth.
It was
Sorry,
Rebirth. It was Rebirth. I was like,
I did Final Fantasy 16. I didn't like it, but I like Final Fantasy Rebirth. It's really, really good. I like the open world exploration and really cool stuff. I did Final Fantasy Rebirth. I downloaded Princess Peach. I saw a title. I played it for about 2 minutes after I was interrupted, but that was basically it.
mm-hmm.
My daughter's
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me see. What have I been playing? Still playing some Hogwarts Legacy on Switch. It's rough at times, but really fun. And then I replayed the Princess Peach Showtime demo again, which is because it was coming out this week. Because I'm still undecided on that one. And then what else? I also was playing What was the one I was? Background music would actually work. What was I playing? You know what? I'm really drawing a blank right now. There was something I was playing a lot of, and now I don't remember. You know what? It's been one of those weeks. It's just been one of those weeks. Maybe was I playing it on Switch? Was I even playing it on Switch?
What's that drink? Dr. Pepper. What?
Yes, it's delicious.
Oh,
Back up a
I
little
can't.
bit.
The dark
Oh,
pepper
back up a little bit. What
strawberry
is that? What is that? Wait, is that the strawberry one?
Yes,
Like,
it
Like,
is.
Dr.
strawberries
Pepper,
and cream?
strawberries and cream.
Dude,
Zero.
Yes. I am hooked. And it's 0 calories? You can't even tell, man.
It's addicting.
Yeah, it has 0 calories.
I'm gonna go to Amazon and order me some right now.
That's where I got it.
Fortnite.
Maybe I
That
should
was
get,
the game
maybe
I
I
was
should get
playing.
Dr. Pepper to sponsor me. That's a good idea.
yeah, because we can just make everyone sponsor us. That'd be great.
My
You can
doctor.
try.
We want you to pay us money to support you because I want your product. Anyways,
You know, goes both
Yeah.
ways.
The only doctor I
Go
have
both ways.
an opinion.
oh jeez.
Well,
So
I'll be
let's,
ordering the 100% sugar version.
Dude,
You mean the regular? The regular?
Correct.
they have the sugar version?
Of course they have
yeah,
a sugar
it's-
version.
Is it the same color? The can? Like in the,
It's red and pink.
No, I like this one better. The can looks better than this one.
All right. Well, I mean,
That's you.
No. Fashion sense, this is better. The black and the pink one.
I do
Oh,
understand where you're
geez.
coming from with that, but like,
Remember,
I'll get
he's
over
all
it.
fashioned up now because he's got his Splatoon glasses. So
Yeah,
Not-
and they
not-
can cool
not-
shirt
not
as well. Yeah.
Pink.
all right, let's get to our first topic, and that is Princess Peach Showtime because it launches this week. I assume we've all played the demo, and if we haven't, well, that sucks. So
played it.
we had our first review come out already. I was hoping reviews would drop today. They must be dropping tomorrow. It was a 33 out of 40. Said the game's kind of short, which I sort of suspected it might be a shorter game. And that it's a good introduction to action games for young players. Whatever that means. The thing about Famitsu reviews, they don't tell you a whole lot about anything. So that's why I was hoping other reviews would drop, so there'd be more to talk about for this topic. But I'm gonna actually throw it over to Mr. Josh over there because he was. Did you say Game of the Year material earlier? What?
I mean, I was being slightly sarcastic, but
I will. If we look at the 3 published Nintendo titles that will have been out through the first 3 months, I would agree it's probably better than the prior 2.
Well, it's the only brand new one.
Well, so wait, there was Mario versus Donkey Kong,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
what was the other one?
Another Code Recollection.
Recollection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a
This
huge
is-
fan of Mario versus Donkey Kong, so I might still go with that over.
Yeah.
Princess
Okay.
Peach.
I you know what? You might be right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mario
but
vs.
it-
Donkey Kong's awesome. Just period.
I'm
That's
a-
just a
I'm a
great
fan.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
so
so,
what do you think about this game? What are we doing?
Well, the demo, I thought, I mean, I think everybody kind of has similar vibes about this game, where it's like, yes, it is easy, and I've heard some people talk about how like, oh, just because it's a Princess Peach game doesn't mean it should be easy or aimed at younger audiences, and I'm kind of like, no, yeah, that is what that means. Like,
Yeah.
why would you make the Princess Peach game overly challenging? And you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm okay with just saying, yeah, this one's not directed at me. I'm not the target audience,
Mhm.
but I can still enjoy it and
Yeah.
still have fun with it. I mean, there's a new season of Fraggle Rock coming to Apple TV Plus, and I am not the target demographic of Fraggle Rock,
Hold up.
but I'm going to be watching it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. The demo was fun. It was kind of short, but we just got 2 areas. You do go back to the areas after you complete them, so that could add replay value and stuff.
Especially because you want to get like all the stars apparently and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. You got to unlock all the faction for Princess Peach. Come on, what do you mean?
Oh.
You get all this different stuff.
Duh.
It is weird though. Famitsu gave it like a 33 out of 40. You said, right?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a low score for Famitsu based on what I've seen. They're usually on the higher scale of reviews, right?
Yeah. I mean, usually it's like 34, 35. It's
like
like
a
we're
low.
almost like every game gets, and then like the good ones get like 37.
So just to put it in perspective, it's an 82.5 out of 100. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's still pretty high. Famitsu
Right,
is,
it's-
I think, generally they're more favorable to a lot of games, especially Nintendo, right? From what I've seen.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Well, I think what should be taken into consideration, right, is that they're from the East, right? So like their perspectives are a little bit different than like a Western perspective, you know, like people here who are like, oh yeah, Call of Duty is like pretty like, you know, we get that. I'm not saying you wouldn't get that if you're in Japan, but there is kind of some inclinations towards a style of gaming over there versus here. Like that that's just the case. Like there's a reason Xbox doesn't perform well in Japan.
Right. But I mean, you know what? Actually, the last thing I'll say about it is like it kind of reminds me of the days where you'd get like Wario World or Luigi's Mansion in like the GameCube days, where you'd get these spin-off titles with characters.
Sure.
So it feels kind of like Wario World to me, but with Princess Peach in the sense that it's like kind of weird. It's not amazing. It's not on a Mario level of quality, but you still feel like, hey, that was kind of a unique thing to play, and I'm happy I played it, sort of a deal.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's a good comparison. I look at Luigi's Mansion as something else now.
Yeah,
but
that's higher up.
But I can see where you're coming from. Definitely I get the Wario vibes a lot. Like it's definitely like a late generation. Hey, Nintendo's gonna try something else with a smaller developer. They're gonna use one of their lesser. Well, I mean, Peach is well known, but let's say lesser used characters, and it's a fun, simple 8 out of 10 kind of game.
The big question is, did you play Super Princess Peach?
I think Super Princess Peach might be a little better.
Okay, that was the question.
The style and the ideas seem like they're a little bit more like, specific, a little bit more controlled, whereas this is kind of like, let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Which can be fun, but you know, maybe not as good as Super Princess Peach. I don't know though. Haven't played it all yet. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm very curious what like the later part of the game is, because the thing is, like with a demo, almost every demo for any Nintendo game, it seems kind of easy. So I don't really, because they're not trying to show you too much of the game. And if it's a shorter game, well, yeah, you're just going to get the easiest stuff out of the way, just to give you an idea what the gameplay is like. I think this game's going to get super hard either. I think it's one of those things, like you said, Josh, like when I hear a Peach game, I hear, well, this should be on an easier side of Mario. Like Mario has a certain level of challenge, and some of it can get really difficult, but just to beat the main already has its main. And I expect Peach to be less than that. And I think that it's weird saying like, why would I expect that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the way it is. Like a Wario Land game is significantly harder base difficulty wise. Now we don't get Wario Land games anymore, but when we did get them, they were a lot harder at their base difficulty than a Mario game was. And for some reason, I just like a Princess Peach. I think it's trying to hit on more children. You always hear like princesses. Well, who really seems to care about princesses a lot? Little girls and stuff like that. So you're like trying to hit on a specific audience where you maybe, and I just say this for my kids, they get overly frustrated at times if they can't beat something and they quit. And that sucks because when I was a kid, you would just keep playing, but that's just not the way today's society is. So I kind of expect it to be a bit on the easier side. I just want it to be, I want the gameplay mechanics to just be actually fun. And I like, and people make fun of me for this. I thought the gameplay mechanics when making the cakes were actually pretty clever, and I liked it.
That was the best part of the demo. That's like the most fun. It's like
so I'm like, if they got more clever ideas like that for the rest of the game, I think it might be a fun little 10-hour, 12-hour romp. It'll be all right.
I mean, the original Luigi's Mansion, you can beat your first time in like 6 or 7 hours. And that game to me is like, that's like a legendary game to me. That's one of my favorite video games ever. I replay it every
meant to be
Halloween.
replayed, exactly.
Yeah. So you could have the same vibe with this Princess Peach game. Going back to what you said, though, about kids, I don't have kids myself yet, but I have nieces, and they're starting to get to the age where they really want to play games. They want to play on their dad's Switch and everything. And they wanted to play Luigi's Mansion for the Switch, but they just couldn't understand, like, oh, you have to shine on the light on the ghost, and then you have to quickly hit the shoulder button and suck them up, and all. It's like too much for a beginner gamer to understand. And there are kids that are really advanced with games, sure.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot.
Sure.
There's a lot that will struggle with things, and then they might not want to be a gamer. They might not want to play games because it's too hard. So I do think sometimes, like, we as gamers, adult gamers, we might take for granted how difficult basic stuff can be. So I'm all for Princess Peach being like this beginner game to get, young people into it. That's cool. And like I said, anybody can enjoy it. Yeah, it's probably more like girls, but if you're a young boy, you can play it. Nobody's going to arrest you or whatever. But, So yeah, I don't know. I think it knows what it needed to be.
Local boy arrested for playing Princess Peach Showtime. He got all the stars.
$1 million in bail.
Like I think what sometimes we forget is like, you know, people just getting into certain games or certain genres of games, they need their beginning entry in, and they're not always going to get into it if it's a Dark Souls slap you in the face kind of thing. That's something you work up towards the more difficult games. And like, you know, like my one son, he's actually starting to get into the more difficult games. But if he didn't get an easier entry point, like even like a Roblox or something, just something that's much simpler to get into, they don't try that harder stuff because they don't. It's just the kids already deal with a lot of learning and maybe failing in school or getting a bad grade or whatever it is. They want to feel like they're progressing, and so I think like these easier games are for that. And I think that's one thing I think a lot of us, maybe not us on this panel, but a lot of gamers in general on the internet that have been gaming for a long time. Because I've seen some people be like, "Oh, Princess Showtime sucks. It's got this bad frame rate. It's got this. It's got that." And I'm like, "Well, the game's, you know who the audience for this game is, right? It's not really meant for you."
They don't even know what a frame rate is.
Like my children don't even know what a frame rate is. They have no idea.
I mean, when we go back and play like an NES game, like Kirby on the NES, when I play that nowadays as an adult and I know video game stuff, I'm like, this runs terribly. What was going on? But as a kid, I would have never even noticed, you know?
Right.
So
Ocarina of Time ran at 20 frames per second on N64. And that was like the game for me growing up.
It's one of the greatest games of all time. Today, you'd never get away with someone ever calling the game that running at 20 FPS. Ever.
No.
Right.
Just didn't care back then.
People would be demanding for refunds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't believe Nintendo released this broken game.
Did they ever confirm the developer is Goodfeel, right? Behind Princess Peach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it confirmed or just really likely based off of data mine?
It's confirmed. It's Goodfeel.
Okay.
Good dash feel.
You know, it's funny. I kind of felt like it was Goodfeel just from looking at it in the early trailer because
It makes
looks
so much
like
sense.
it's such a good lean into from Crafted World. Yoshi's Crafted World has the kind of same vibes.
Yeah, they're both using Unreal Engine, so
which I'm excited about. I'm making a game in Unreal Engine, so it's an amazing engine to make games in. But yeah, it's funny. I will say though, I feel like Goodfeel's games in terms of the quality is slowly dipping a little bit. Like I look at Wario Land Shake It and Kirby's Epic Yarn, and I feel like those are probably the better ones they've done. You know, like Crafted World I liked, Princess Peach I like. Yeah. But I do feel
fine, but it doesn't feel like those other ones you talked about back on Wii. Like it just those just felt a little bit crisper, a little cleaner. Just
a little more time put into them. Yeah. But they are known for making like easier games. Like famously, you can't even die in Kirby Epic Yarn. Like they just pick you up and put you right back onto the stage. So they made an amazing game over the holiday season in Japan. It's called like Mamada Bakaru.
Yeah.
That game is other than Pikmin 4, that was like my game of the year last year. I swear by that game. It's so fun. It's really cool. So, but yeah. They're a good developer. I think they're pretty good. I mean, good is right in their name, so you know they gotta be good.
It's a good feel.
They're trying to give you good feelings around you. Good feelings.
I'm gonna call whenever I release my first game, I'm gonna call my development studio Great Feel, just to one up them a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
My games are a little bit better.
It'll be funny if Goodfeel changes their name when they decide to make like an open world game. Like, oh, here we go. We're up in it.
And if I ever open a game studio, mine's just gonna be called A Little Bit Better.
Mine's gonna be all the feels.
All the feels.
There you go.
Yeah. Mine's gonna be like just basic games.
Standard.
Basic AF. That's
Yeah.
I like the idea of just calling your development studio Video Game Studio, or like something that's literally just what it is.
Or good enough
games of video.
Good enough game.
Oh man.
It also makes sense that we're seeing a Goodfeel game right about now, right? Because Goodfeel is not an internal Nintendo studio, right? This is technically they can make games for other companies. This is it's a partner project technically.
Yeah, they make mobile games.
And so like the idea is that Nintendo's kind of holding back their own projects for Switch 2 or what have you. Like we don't have any confirmed games that we know were made by an internal Nintendo originally, because obviously we're getting remakes and remasters, but we assume that those remaster jobs are probably being outsourced and maybe supervised by the main team, but not like all hands on deck.
Was Mario versus Donkey Kong, that remake, wasn't that made by the team that originally made it at Nintendo, or did they outsource the remake?
Is that NST? I'm not sure.
That's a
What are we doing?
that's a good question.
'Cause
Who
that
made
studio
the
is
Mario
in
versus
US.
Donkey Kong remake?
Yeah, because that studio is like the one American development studio I think they have. They don't have many teams that work here.
Yeah, it is NST. But I guess I'm curious. Did they?
Nintendo.
If you go to their listing,
technology.
Nintendo Software Technology Corp.
Yeah.
Because
So
there you go.
well, that's what it
Yeah.
says on Google. But that could have been the original. That's why I'm curious.
Wait.
They
One.
also made 1080
Well,
snowboarding.
it probably has it in
and
the
wave
credits
race.
of the game.
Yeah, you can check the credits.
Yeah,
The credits will probably tell you if that's the original or if there was a different team that did it. Because you'll always have credit to the original team, of course,
For sure.
remake or remaster.
I can't
Um,
remember why I went down this line of questioning. I forgot what my point was at this point, but yeah.
Well, because I'll just say like there isn't like any currently.
Oh
announced,
yeah.
Like Nintendo themselves made the game this year, and I mean maybe that's the one exception. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yes,
in a bit.
yeah. Mario versus Donkey Kong, Nintendo Switch, Super Mario Wiki says Nintendo Software Technology Corporation
Okay.
is the.
I didn't even think they were still
Oh.
alive. I thought they were done for. I thought they. Yeah, that's exciting. They should make a new wave race next. That's
Yes.
Yes. I mean, we want to say something that from a Nintendo internal studio that we do know is being developed. Metroid Prime 4, technically.
Oh yeah, that's technically
Yeah, but it's
true.
not slated for 2024 technically.
I mean, it's just slated to exist.
Nate,
Right,
give us the rumors. Let's hear it. When is it coming? You have to know by now.
I don't know anything. About when
They
this thing is
said
coming.
TBA.
I hope it's this year, but then I don't know because I kind of want like a Switch 2 version to be nice to come out at
Right.
the same time.
I hope it's
But-
this year, but I also hope it isn't this year because I want the better version.
But it's
Yeah.
fine, honestly. If it's this year, cool. Nintendo, if you are absolutely just not gonna say anything about Switch 2 at all this year, give me Metroid Prime 4 then. Like,
Metroid
don't
Prime
go
4.
this whole year and say nothing about a new system, and then also don't give me any like big games. That would just suck.
Metroid
You don't
Prime
even have a
4.
Pokemon game as far as where we're coming yet. So
It only exists for two reasons, okay? Metroid Prime 4, two reasons. Number one, to recruit people. Hey, come work with us. We're working on Metroid Prime 4. And number two, to be like added to the meetings, to the developer shareholder meetings at the end, TDA, so the developers.
yeah.
They can-
Oh, you guys say we have no games in the works. Have you seen Metroid Prime
That
4?
is the
It's down
only
there.
way we get
TBA.
So 7 years from now, we're gonna be like, hey, they still got Metroid Prime 4
Yeah, they're hiring.
any day now. So
Hey,
we're
could we
gonna
get the
see it.
Shadow of the Colossus remake that they were working on forever? You know, it was like a decade for that one. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
just-
but that remake was amazing.
It was a very good remake, but still,
Yeah.
it was a decade in the making, which is insane.
Yeah.
Is there any
But-
possibility that even though the Metroid Prime 4 was announced for the Switch, that it doesn't release on the Switch?
I think
It's
so.
always
I think I
possible.
can see that. Yeah.
Well, it's possible that I could die right this second because an asteroid will come out of nowhere and blow me up. Yes, it's possible. But is it plausible?
I know that was coming.
Yeah. But is it plausible? I would say
Yeah.
I would say it's very unlikely. Just because one, Nintendo initially announced it for Nintendo Switch. Then in 2019, when they announced the restart, they made a promise as a Switch game to deliver upon that initial quality, and it's been listed as a Switch game every single investors
Well,
meeting.
to be fair,
since
Switch
then.
is the only platform announced.
Right, but they could have
Oh,
had
right.
not they. It's still been listed specifically for Switch this entire time.
They
Well,
can
it
change
has
their
to
minds.
Has to be. They have no other system announced. What else are they going to list it for?
But I
Would
just
people
don't
be
think
mad about
And they're not
that?
going to
saying it's
remove the
not-
listing because then
Listen,
people think the game's canceled.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's
know.
unlikely.
I
I
My
think we're
thing-
all on the same page. I don't
I
think
think
anyone's
it
saying
could
it's
be-
likely.
I
Or
think
Josh,
it
are you
could
saying
be
it's
switched
likely?
to. I think it could be switched to exclusive under basically one major caveat: the game is still years away.
Yeah.
I feel like they're
And that would kind of suck. Just to be honest. Just to be honest, it better not be years away. Holy crud!
Listen, I'm a Pikmin fan. I've waited a decade for one Pikmin game, so I'm used to this kind of thing. Well,
Hey,
you know,
Pikmin,
'cause
come on.
we don't listen. I will leave right now if you mention that game again. I'm out of here. Well, so I've heard some people say that it's maybe it's going to be like Zelda Twilight Princess or like Breath of the Wild, where it has like, you know, I could be that for sure. I mean, I don't know, but there is a little bit of a difference because Twilight Princess we'd seen footage of, and Breath of the Wild we saw footage of. Like they existed as a Wii U game and as a GameCube game, you know. Whereas Prime 4, that game, like to us, everybody here watching, it doesn't even exist. Like we know it's being made, but we haven't seen anything. So it would be, I feel like it wouldn't be such a like slap in the face, because I kind of want it to just be on the more powerful system, made exclusively for the new powerful system. Because aren't we all going to get it anyway, right?
Yeah,
right.
So,
I mean, that energy is why I'm like, hey, I'll wait until next year if that means we get a cross-gen version of Prime 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nintendo has so many opportunities in Nintendo Directs to say, hey, it's still in development or something like that, but no mention whatsoever.
They don't
tell you guys
something
that's kind of just occurred to me recently, right? This is all, you know, just speculation upon speculation, right? But if we assume there's an April Nintendo Direct as rumored, right? And we assume that Prime 4 is going to be kind of like safe for next year for Switch 2 as a cross-gen title, right? I could see Metro Prime 4 entering that environment of being even more like Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild, where let's say they showcase Prime 4 as like a big game during the Direct. And then all of a sudden, very similar to Breath of the Wild, it's like that big hype game that Nintendo can talk about in the year prior to the console launch, but then it's part of that launch window as a cross-gen title early next year. So I'm just saying there's an avenue where all of a sudden Prime 4, you know, let's say a month from now, looks a lot more like the Breath of the Wild situation.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Metroid's not the brand that Zelda is, of course. So
it's not. But I will say, even before the big Zelda jump, Zelda was definitely bigger than Metroid, right? But no one thought Breath of the Wild was going to sell 30+ million, right? So like, what if Metroid Prime 4 becomes like a 10 million seller, you know? And then that would be kind of like, hey, that's a solid launch window game.
The only reason why I don't want Metro Prime 4 to be on Switch is because it'll be a Switch game moving forward that was ported to the Nintendo Switch 2. I want them to develop for Switch 2 with all the power of the Switch 2 behind it to a point where, because I have high expectations for that game. I want it to be just massive to impress. You know what I mean? I don't want the Breath of the Wild experience where, yeah, that was a Wii U game running on Switch, and then we have to wait to Tears of the Kingdom to kind of see some jump or whatever. I want it to be a Switch 2 exclusive and be just the biggest game ever. Yeah, I got high expectations, you know?
I feel that same way, yeah.
One of what blows my mind? Metroid Prime was made in 2 years. Metroid Prime 2 was made in 2 years. Majora's Mask was made in less than 2 years. Like, some of our favorite games of all time had ridiculously short development cycles. And here we're waiting 6 to 7 years for Metroid Prime 4 and Tears of the Kingdom.
Mario Party 6 was made in less than 1 year, and it's the best Mario Party ever. So there you go.
I mean, sometimes like you just have a good idea and it works.
Just go with it. Yeah. Those were the days when we didn't have to wait a decade for a new Zelda. Now it's
but it felt longer though because we had no games to play in between.
It's so funny. This is totally random, but I was thinking about how people are kind of romancing the Wii U days now. They're like, man, I miss kind of the Wii U. And I'm like, no, you don't. We went 8 months without a game, and then it was finally like Game and Wario or something. So I was like, no, you're looking back with some rose-tinted goggles. Is that what those were?
Yeah.
I feel like I was at war during the Wii U days.
Back during the Wii U days, Princess Peach Showtime would have been the game for the first half of the year.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a huge, huge release. Yeah.
But, I mean, you're missing some months. Where were you? Why did you buy one? How many? 20 million sales? 20 million sales for the Wii U? I'm like, where were you back then? Why are you talking now?
Well, we talked a little bit about Metro Prime there and going into Switch 2, which I think is a good transition to our second topic on Switch 2, because there were some new rumors out there. The biggest ones over the last week probably coming from two places. One was Nate the Hate, who threw out there just some stuff that he heard. He was talking about stuff he heard last month, where he had a half dozen sources telling him about the 2025 delay. He said he doesn't know when it's coming or when it's being announced or anything like that. He put his opinion out there, of course, that he thinks Nintendo will probably at least have a brief mention of it at their next investors meeting, which is something I've been saying for a while that I think might happen too if it's coming out next fiscal year, because it would be part of their financial forecast. So there could be a code name drop or some sort of like, you know, they're going to be asked directly if it's coming out like they are every year. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Nintendo responds to that at all, if the plan is for it to come out next fiscal year, which begins next month, for those unaware of how Nintendo runs their fiscal years. That being said, the biggest part of the rumor was probably that he also mentioned that Nintendo has contacted third-party companies for assets that he described as trailers. And why would Nintendo need trailers from third-party companies for Switch 2 if it wasn't for a presentation? I'm just throwing that out there. He didn't say it was going to be a presentation, but he's like, why the hell else would Nintendo be asking for Switch 2 trailers? So I don't know if that means like there's a reveal coming soon. Like, why Nintendo wouldn't need trailers now if they weren't planning something, but
How long was it between the like first reveal of the original Switch and when they actually like really revealed it? What was that time period?
April
October
2016.
to January.
I mean, well, so
That's
Yeah,
what we're
so-
talking about. They said NX back in
2015, the
first
NX
one,
line, right?
I thought it was April 2016.
Well, okay. So there's a tweet where Nintendo confirmed that their new console, codename NX, would be coming. That was on April 27, 2016.
Okay.
That's when they told us the release date. But I would like to think that the NX plans were mentioned as early as 2015.
Was whenever they announced Denna, they announced it at the same time.
And it's because the Wii U was dead. You know, they had
Yeah.
to keep shareholders happy in a way. Say, hey, we're moving forward with this. I know
Yeah,
we
because they announced the mobile partnership with Denna, and that was what made them want to mention NX, because they wanted to assure consumers they weren't leaving the console space.
But the trailer with the guy that looked like Chris Pratt and then he goes out and walks the dog, that was like the first time we physically saw the system, you know?
So I got confirmation here. It looks like they had announced 7 years ago on March 17, 2015, Nintendo NX was announced. So they probably, you were saying DNA, right? Right, Nate?
Yeah, they announced it at the same time they announced them.
That's correct. So that's when they announced it. I think that's when they were just kind of talking about their plans overall, right? How they had this future console, the NX,
Yeah.
they're moving into mobile gaming. So they were kind of outlining everything. And
And
then
then-
April 2016, they put out a tweet on social media saying that the NX, Nintendo's next generation console, would be coming out March 2017. So they confirmed the actual release date, April the year prior.
Yeah.
So that would position us to maybe see something similar next month.
Yeah.
But
Then they talked about at E3 that year, where they said that's when they said Breath of the Wild is going to be a launch game for it, but they wouldn't say anything else about the system. And then they revealed the system in October, big blowout in January, release in March. Yeah.
So I think that timeline is what I was mostly focusing on, because I feel like that would maybe be what we would see.
The
So it'd be like
October to March.
I think so. I think honestly, I'm just gonna make a bold prediction here. I think we get a Nintendo Direct in May or June, and they reveal what's coming for Nintendo Switch. It'll be one of those things where they specifically say for Nintendo Switch games coming in the second half of this year, and people will be like, "What? What about the Switch 2?" And then I think in October is when they'll like show the system. They'll maybe show one game, like they'll show us Metroid Prime 4 or something, and then January they have the big blowout, and it comes out in like March of next year. Maybe a repeat of what they did with the Switch. I don't.
Yeah, especially if they have a lighter holiday lineup, like just to keep excitement going. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't really have like a ton this holiday. We have like this say a Zelda remaster or something is like their lead holiday title. And they're like, hey, we know, but don't worry. Here's our next big system. Get your pre-orders in. Do what you need to do, and we'll discount Switch this holiday, and we'll just bundle a bunch of games in. And
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just kind of feel like Nintendo needs to confirm the console at least.
Yeah.
I don't see us waiting until October and getting nothing. I mean, maybe they don't show us footage until October, which I personally think would suck, but they could get away with it if they
especially
at
if
least
that's till March. Yeah.
if they at least confirm the existence of it. If they do what they did, back in 2016 April, like, hey, look, here's the code name for the system. Maybe they even just give us the name. Maybe a small hint, because I think for example, like the 3DS, they hinted that it was gonna be a 3D glasses free console. Like if they do something like that to hint at what it's about, just like a line or two.
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
just
that's
confirm when it's coming, so we at least know.
That's what Nate the Hate kind of said that he feels like would have to happen at that May investors meeting. Just like something that just like Nintendo just acknowledges it exists and it's coming, and that's pretty much all you're gonna get. At least that's what he suspected then, and he said he has no idea. None of his sources know when Nintendo's going to reveal it. Only that they sent Nintendo trailers for games they're working on for Switch 2. So
yeah, I pray. And
again,
right?
this is all rumors, by the way, guys. These aren't facts.
Yeah,
rumors.
Like what Josh is suggesting. Honestly, I don't even know if it's bold. I think that's kind of like that's what history suggests, right? Like, yeah. What I pray for though is that rumor that we're getting an April direct. So we get the big direct in April finally, right? And then supposedly with that rumor, we're getting the June Switch 2 reveal. And that makes it sound like it's more than just, hey, it exists. It makes it sound like we're going to see actual, like some level of promotional material, maybe actual footage of the console or a game or two. Like to me, that would be more exciting just because, especially if the second half of the year, we don't have a lot of big releases. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe Nintendo does have like some solid stuff for the second half of the year. And then I won't care once we get this supposed April direct.
So what is the next big stage that Nintendo could take and just drop that trailer?
Like the next big what?
The next big stage. Wait, is it Summer Gaming Fest?
Oh,
I mean, I mean, that's the only one coming up that involves the whole industry.
Nintendo creates a stage whenever they want.
I was literally just gonna say that Nintendo brings the stage. I think that.
I mean, all Nintendo needs to do is not do a surprise one. Just tell us, like they did with Switch. They gave us a date like 5 days beforehand. They said, "Hey, tune in this day for the reveal of our next generation platform." And that just 5 days of hype and podcasts and discussion and social media going nuts. What is this thing? Let's blow through all the patents. Let's piece it all together.
And it might just be a 3-minute trailer.
And that's fine. Dude, the Switch one was like 2.5 minutes, and that was to me like the perfect reveal trailer.
Do you remember the final Tears of the Kingdom trailer? Like Nintendo announced, hey, we're gonna reveal the final trailer. And so like there was a build-up for it, but it was just a couple minutes. Like I just think it's interesting, like when we know there's a presentation and there's a build-up, okay, but when they give us like days in advance just for a single trailer, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just interesting that we'll talk about it for hours and we're only gonna get like 2 minutes of footage.
Well, that's what being a Nintendo fan.
For clarity, let me just say this. Remember when that new art came out from Retro Studios that shows Samus with the blue? It's maybe our first concept art of Metroid Prime 4. Yeah. I did like 3 podcasts on that and like 2 different videos.
Yeah. So Andre, how many theory videos did you make on that 2-minute trailer?
On
the there you go.
Hours upon hours of discussion.
I mean, like way back in the day when that Skyward Sword art leaked out of the private E3 meeting. I wasn't doing like podcasts and stuff back then. I was working at Zelda Informer, and we had literally, I think, within a week, over 25 different articles written about that one art piece. So, like, this is just what Nintendo fans, I think, it's fans, like mega fans of any company will do, is take any piece of information and just start speculating and talking and being excited because. I think just something as I've learned over time as a gamer and covering games is it almost makes gaming more fun to get involved in these in-depth gaming conversations. I mean, this podcast is an example. That we spent 20 minutes at least talking about a game that none of us think is going to be like that big of a deal, but also it's kind of cool we're even getting that kind of game, and that's nice, and like it just helps build excitement for stuff. Because, like, I'm not sold on if I'm getting Princess Peach Showtime, but the more we kept talking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I'm probably buying this thing this Friday. It's just happening.
You guys almost talked me into it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And that's what happens. And it's like, and I know what to expect. And so I'm probably not even going to be disappointed with the purchase because I already know what the game's probably going to be. And I'm okay with that. So I think that's just part of the fun of being gamers. And you guys in the chat, you guys leave all the comments and you guys are talking on socials and forums. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think the thing about the Switch 2 that I am kind of like thinking of and that I'm mostly aware of is the moment Nintendo acknowledges that it exists and it's coming, they definitely probably hurt the sales of the current Switch, because why would you go out and buy a new Switch when you know, oh, I'll just wait, this like big new thing is coming. Yeah. And that's true for like any video game system. You have that moment at the end of its time where, you have to find just the right moment where you're like, okay, now is when we should start talking about this. Yeah. So I mean, it really just depends on like what does Nintendo have after June for the regular Switch. If they've got like 3 games or so, they can kind of milk that and have some third-party stuff put in there, you know. So it's really hard to say for sure, but it's exciting, damn it.
It's part of the rumor. The part of the rumor is that Nintendo wanted to get rid of stock they had for the Nintendo Switch before they moved on. So, you know,
yeah. Does anybody know what the sales are for the Switch currently? Like, are they still
enough?
enough? Yeah,
Enough.
They're good.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, to this day, it's still good in the 7th year. Like, you know, Nintendo can take their sweet time when announcing the next system because their current system is still selling like hotcakes.
Right, and that's the other scary thing. Like, I'm sure Nintendo's very aware of the idea that it's like, hey, we're not guaranteed to have another success on our hands with the next system, so let's try to get as much out of the one that is successful while we can.
They're so milking
That's
it.
why
I was afraid they would
be a
but
new
totally
name.
are.
I agree. That's why I believe it should be a new name, and that's Switch 2. I know I'm alone, but I'm no Switch 2.
Yeah. I'll also say, well, remember how PS2 did better than PS1? But you know,
What?
it also had a DVD player, so that definitely helped a lot.
Well, yeah, and the fact that no other PlayStation systems come close kind of just lets you know, all right, there was a 40 million plus boost.
Yeah.
Because of the time period and what that offered.
I mean,
But
PS3 did
PlayStation's
what,
been
90
wildly
million?
consistent, though. Yeah, like
PS4
PlayStation's
was
been
solid.
wildly. Yeah, PS4 sold 111, 117 million or something like that.
I mean,
Every PlayStation sold over 100 million except one, and that one sold over 80.
so well, let me pose this question, right? And obviously, we don't know. Nintendo
Not
doesn't
counting
know,
Vita, sorry,
right?
Vita.
But hypothetically speaking, let's say Nintendo knew that if they stick with the Switch brand, they're guaranteed somewhere around 100 million, maybe more. Now, is it better to do that or take a risk and maybe have another 150 million console, but also maybe have another 20 million
Listen, I got an argument with that. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter what it's called as long as they continue with the same form factor. People know how to use the form factor. It's like you know how you use a smartphone. They call it the Galaxy, they call it the River, they call it the One. Who cares? It's the same smartphone with the same apps or whatever. As long as they continue what made the Switch successful moving forward, the name really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
I guess it's a question of how strong is the brand of Nintendo.
I
think it's pretty strong.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
I think the Wii, a lot of us, we look at the Wii U and we're like, man, that was such a failure. And everybody's like, oh, it failed because, people didn't know what it was. But the audiences for the Wii and the Nintendo Switch are definitely different. As much of a huge fan, I'm a huge fan of the Wii. I love that. But a lot of the audience there was like people that don't play video games. They bought it because it was the cool thing. And then it just like collected dust on their TV. They played Wii Sports during the holidays because, it was like a board game to them. The Switch is so much more healthy as a video game machine with its consumer base to where I don't think anybody's going to be like, wait, the Super Switch, what's that? Is that a controller? Nintendo Switch 2? What is that? I think the audience is more wise and hip to what's going on in gaming to where they're not going to be confused like Wii U was because the audience are more invested, I think.
I still want a different name.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I still want a different name. I want something new.
Yeah.
It says Nintendo Switch nears 140 million lifetime sales, topped 122 million annual playing, 122 million annual playing users. So we have 122 accounts, 122 million, and then 140 million lifetime sales for the Nintendo Switch. I think they're done. They're satisfied with that.
Maybe. Yeah. Something else I'll bring up, right? Like, if they do a different name, if they don't, whatever. I think something we should take into consideration is just because it's no longer Nintendo like splitting up their resources anymore. Nintendo focuses on one platform.
Yeah.
So the entire Nintendo audience is going to be there. So I would say, worst case scenario, as long as they don't do something incredibly stupid, they're probably going to hit 100 million systems sold over the generation. Maybe don't hit 140 or 150 like the Switch, but like they'll probably be like consistent with like Sony sales, where they're going to be close to 100 million, give or take.
Yeah, and they already confirmed that Nintendo accounts are moving forward with the purchases. So as long as they confirm backwards compatibility, that only secures those people moving forward with their games.
Sure.
Right, and that's a very big deal. The backwards compatibility, I think, is going to definitely play into how they announce the next system. Because if it's like, hey, we've got like these 2 bigger games coming out in the holiday season this year, but don't worry if you buy them because you'll be able to play them on like the new system. They're not locked to the original Switch, you know,
exactly.
To where you can, big 3D Donkey Kong game comes out this holiday season. It's like, don't worry, you'll still be able to play it on the next system, sort of video.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
about that though, like, I think that's gonna happen, but I feel like it's gonna be more like, hey, remember Pikmin 4, remember Tears of the Kingdom, remember Bayonetta 3? These games run and look a little bit better on Switch too. But I kind of feel like whatever comes out in the second half, I don't think Nintendo can pick. I mean, they may, right? But I kind of wonder that they may not, because like, imagine playing Metroid Prime 4 for Switch this holiday. A lot of people are going to be kind of thinking like, man, this is cool. But what if it was on Switch 2, a console that's already announced by this point, and it's running in 4K or something like that? There's going to be a lot of that. So I've been kind of thinking that the lineup we see in the second half is kind of the kind of games that we're not going to think, man, I really wish I had a 4K console for this, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, if I'm playing Wind Waker HD this holiday, I'm not going to be thinking, man, I really wish I was playing this on Switch too, because it's going to look as good as it did on Wii U, right? Or maybe Nintendo goes in a different direction, does like 2D Zelda, same difference, right? Just like Mario Wonder. Or if there is like a Pokemon remake, like it's a remake, and maybe a chibi style or something like Let's Go. I don't need that to be in 4K. But, if we have an open world Donkey Kong game, I'm going to be like, this is really cool, but what if it was at 60 FPS with ray tracing, So that's kind of my thought process, though. We'll see what Nintendo does.
I think what Metroid is that I see Metroid in a way. I don't know why I'm seeing it lately like this. Maybe because of the rumors, like Battlefield or Call of Duty, type of game where they can go as far as to kind of give it hyper realistic. I think that's the only game, right, in Switch or in Nintendo IPs, like you can give it a hyper realistic kind of look to it, and it'll just look amazing. And I think Audrey will go crazy over a hyper realistic Samus, right, changing her clothes, in front of you, right? So, look at him. Woo!
Why do we gotta do the whole clothes changing thing? Like, why you gotta throw me under the bus like that?
Metroid is I think is the one IP where Nintendo can get actually on board with hyper realism when it comes to graphics and make it look incredible.
Whatever happened to Geist?
Geist the developer is dead. They were N-Space. I think they're gone.
Rip.
Mr. Miyamoto worked on Geist. Think about that.
Yeah.
He kind of worked on it. He helped him with ideas.
It was a unique idea. I think the execution is just where the problem was at. So,
well, he later brought the idea back in Super Mario Odyssey, where you possess things. That was what Geist was about. This thing has very sharp claws. My God, that was digging.
Oh man,
that's dangerous.
It was trying to suck your brain.
It literally has the potential to do it. Yeah, I actually don't really expect Metroid Prime 4 to be photorealistic. I don't think that's what they actually go for. It is the more realistic Nintendo game, but it's still not realistic. I would still say Metroid visuals are very stylized. They're definitely, if there's a spectrum, they're definitely closer to realism. But it's definitely clearly stylized.
Zero Suit Samus in 4K with really good shiny shaders on her suit. Think of the shaders they could use for that suit. That's got to happen. I don't even want the actual suit. Just give me Zero Suit Samus. That's the whole thing.
I made this point during my stream on Monday, but I actually think this version of Samus is the sexiest. Just look at that. Look at that chest plate. Look at those shoulders. I mean, come on. How is that not the most beautiful woman in the universe?
Are you talking about the?
I don't know what just came out of your mouth right now.
Like,
wait a minute.
You like shoulder
Metroid's a girl?
What?
You like shoulder pads?
Did you know she can crawl?
I've heard that. We need to bring Miiverse back. Miiverse is legendary.
You know what's wild now is that the meme of Metroid can crawl, or like I mean it's, and also Metroid being Samus, not really false.
Well, they put it in an official game, didn't they? Like make a joke about how she can crawl or something. They referenced one of the Miiverse memes in an official Nintendo game.
I believe they did. Yeah.
All
right. So who do you pick? Zelda or Samus?
Samus.
Wait a second. Are we doing like a Mary F. Kill situation here?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh god. All right. Well, who's the third member? Peach.
Yeah, maybe a third member.
Pyra, Mithra.
No, just put not Peach, not Daisy. The other one with the Rosalina, is it?
Rosalina. Okay. Rosalina, Zelda, and Samus.
And Samus.
You gotta. I would kill Zelda, even though I know that's not kosher here.
I mean,
Nate's gonna
how can we kill any of them? I just
kill Zelda, make love to Samus, and marry Rosalina. I think that's the way you go.
Yeah, that's about right. I think I'm over with that one too.
I mean, look, I would
F them all.
well, Eric,
That's the correct
across
answer.
the wall. Hey, we're having one night stands across the board. Let's go. I'd probably kill Rosalina. Controversial. She's not as
She's got all
important.
those babies. Look at all the orphans you're going to be making. All the little
I
orphan
know, but
Lumas.
she's so important that she like doesn't appear in a ton of Mario games. So I think I can handle just her not existing anymore. It's not going to hurt my life too much. Princess Zelda or Samus not existing anymore. That's tough for me. That's tough for me because they're in like every game. Let's see. But then between Zelda, see which version of Zelda are we talking about? There's only one Samus, but which version of Zelda are we talking about? There's multiple Zeldas.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the King. Oh, see, that's tough.
all right. I'm gonna skip you. I'm gonna marry Tears of the Kingdom Zelda. I'm killing Rosalina, and I'm having a good night with Samus.
Wow.
So
There you go.
I already said I'd kill Rosalina. I think I probably would marry Zelda just because she's not like leaving. She's not like going off on adventures in other lands.
Yeah, you're not getting in
and-
the way of her.
And look, me and
needs,
Samus
really.
are gonna. That's just what's gonna happen.
Well,
It is what it is.
Samus doesn't seem
That's
like
like
she'd
my
make a...
bachelor party night.
You know, you could make the argument though. You probably want to kill Samus because she's also a Metroid. Like she's not even human.
Yeah,
Like, do you
yeah.
really want to be involved with that? You know, in a very,
I trust in her ability to keep it under control.
like, I mean, what if it's just like a Metro? I don't know how far we should go with this.
Listen,
but-
this is just making it better as far as I'm concerned. Let's do this. Weird
Yeah.
space. Weird space erotica.
I love it.
Samus, you wouldn't want to marry Samus because
fun.
she'd be very dead inside. It doesn't seem like she'd have many emotions just being out in space by herself,
Yeah.
killing things.
Oh, I thought you were
nonstop.
basing it off
Oh.
of Other M for a second.
Well,
Oh,
you
I
could
was
gonna say
argue.
Sam,
You could
but-
argue Samus has actually a really good. She's a really good mother figure because she has been very
that's
good with
true.
animals throughout the series, including Metroids.
That is true.
Well, the one Metroid, she kills all the others. But.
Chip Chop Chop says this is degenerate hour.
Hey, I didn't mean for it to go this far.
Hey, this is that. Dude, it'd be even further if Jake was on this.
Oh,
show,
it'd be beyond.
Don't
if
even-
Jake was on here.
Don't
Oh,
even.
yeah.
This is tame.
This part was in honor of Jake.
Yes.
Yeah.
so-
There you go. There you go.
So, are you guys? This is another part of that Switch 2 thing. Because there was another rumor about Persona 6 coming, and that's cool. I'd love to see Persona obviously just be day and date on a Switch platform. Be sweet. We'll see what happens with that. But what I want to throw out there is the Switch 2 conversation has been going on for a while, right? Like at least a year and a half, a little bit longer, pretty much since the NVIDIA leaks. And
Yeah.
it feels like we went from Switch Pro to Switch 2 like overnight. So as fellow content creators, plus Eric, are you guys kind of like sick of talking about Switch 2? Just because Nintendo is just not acknowledging anything? Or are you just like still as hyped as ever?
I'm as hyped as ever. I like talking about it. So I don't talk about it a lot as much as I used to, but I'm still as hyped as ever. You know, I would get tired if I would have to find news that doesn't exist because it's far in between. But I wish I wish there were new things coming up daily so I can talk about it daily. And I'm still excited about it.
You mean like my last 5 videos?
Yeah. How you guys?
Sorry, I gotta
Yeah,
stop.
I'm excited.
I gotta stop talking about Switch 2. Andres, what do you think?
It's a tough question to answer because I am a content creator.
Yeah.
And I'm like in that weird sort of limbo area where like, can I actually be a full-time content creator? Can I not? Right. And it's kind of like right now it's like, no, I can't do this long term as things currently stand because Nintendo is being extremely quiet. Like I would say in terms of the news cycle, this is probably the worst Nintendo has been since the pandemic year. And I almost feel like the pandemic year was better. At least in terms of like the conversations that were going, right?
Uh-huh.
Because we don't even have like, for example, at least during the pandemic year, we had like oh yeah, well, we got a Zelda game down the road. Like there was still like, we could talk about a Mario game. Like now all we could talk about is Metroid Prime 4, but it's been the same conversation because everything we know about Metroid Prime 4 is basically everything we knew back in 2017. There's some
Like
little
officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officially speaking, yes. There's
You
some
can
little
argue
things like
hiring
vampires
posts
and
and
stuff,
other
right?
things. Yeah.
But the point is, there hasn't been anything super substantial updated on Metroid Prime 4 since 2017, and then everything else has already been kind of exhausted. So from a content creator perspective, this is definitely like a trying time for me. So I'm clearly very biased, but I also do feel that the general masses right now, in terms of the Nintendo community, are definitely kind of, I don't know if tired of Switch. There's definitely some people who are tired of Switch 2, right? Yeah. But I think right now, we as a whole, there are the people who just don't care, right? And there are the people who like us are very invested. We're kind of like tired of waiting, if that makes any sense. I know that once Nintendo starts talking about stuff, my hype levels are going to explode. But I think my hype levels right now are a little below average because, well, I think they've done a bad job of keeping us excited. Now, I'm not saying that, that we should blame them 100% for that, because the fact of the matter is there's going to be ups and downs throughout a generation, and this is clearly the downward kind of part of a generation because it's the end, right? But yeah, I don't think Nintendo's really doing a great job of exciting us right now. So
watch, it's not the end, and everyone who said Switch would be the only platform for 10 years was right. It's coming out 2027.
Hey, if April comes around, there's a big direct and there's a whole bunch of games to talk about.
Dude, if they drop,
what I'm doing is
the new 3D Mario, it's this year on Switch. Oh well, shit, we ain't getting no new generation platform for a long time. Oh, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, 2020, what, 2030?
Yeah, right. They're just skipping. They're gonna wait till PS6 comes out and then they're gonna drop it.
What I'm really doing is actually focusing on this year. Let's say, okay, Switch was not out this year. Then what else does Nintendo have for this year? And with that rumored Nintendo Direct, right? I'm just kind of putting my crazy speculative list out there and trying to wish it into existence to see if Nintendo can hear us. But if you gotta focus on what's in front of you, and if what's in front of me is Switch 2 news, I'm super excited. If it's not, then I'll try to get excited for whatever. Well, the next news is out there.
I will say, I'm excited for Thousand Year Door and stuff like that. Like, it's cool, but also I know what that game is. Like, I know what it is. It's exciting to play it again, and that's cool. And talk about if they add any new content or any new changes they do to it, and that's really cool. And revisiting some of my favorite parts of that game and seeing it all reimagined and new visuals, that's gonna be great. But also, it's a known quantity for me, so I'm excited. Not nearly as excited as I am for an actual new big game from Nintendo where I don't know what's going to actually happen, how the game's going to play out, what the gameplay is really like. And that's what we don't have right now, unless you want to say it's Endless Ocean. And Endless Ocean looks really good. And the first one was really damn good. And it's made by the same studio again. So that's awesome. I'm sure this is going to be really cool. And they're making it really online centric as well, which I think that's kind of neat as well. But
it's definitely not going to appeal. It's not appealing to a large audience, though.
I would say it's like a niche. It's more of a niche game that
most
for
people
don't
like
to relax and love ocean animals, and I love ocean animals. I was thought I was going to be
marine biologist.
What do they call it? A marine biologist? Yeah, at one point in my life. So it's a very it's a chill game, and I'll probably check it out just because I really like the first one, and it's a new game. We haven't had a new Endless Ocean. When did the first one come out? Like 15 years ago or something.
Yeah, there's actually two of them on the Wii. There's Endless Ocean and then Endless Ocean
Blue something.
Blue something.
Endless Ocean, Blue Ocean. I don't know.
Blue World
Blue
or something.
Yeah, Blue World makes sense, I think.
Movie returns. And I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Speculative question.
That'd be Blue World.
Blue World. Yeah,
Blue World.
Okay.
Eric is on the ball tonight. I just want to point that out.
He's got Google. His Google's at
Google.
He's the only one of us smart enough to just type it up because he's not talking. Wait, he's talking too much.
Yeah, right. I'll shut up.
All right, so what's your
Mario
question,
Thousand Year Door?
Sure.
Right? So my speculative question is about Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Okay.
You know how I think Nintendo has listened to us in that is the best Paper Mario game that they've done so far. What if this Paper Mario that's in your door is just like it's the last Paper Mario on Switch, and they're also testing the waters because maybe Switch 2 will have another Paper Mario, but it's gonna be bigger, grander. But they are gonna basically take everything that's good about Paper Mario that's in your door and use that as moving forward. Because I know a lot of people were upset about the Origami King because the battle system is weird. The different changes, like little puzzle thing that turn around or whatever. But what if this is just again Nintendo testing the waters with this remake to give us a better Paper Mario?
See, that's what everyone's been saying since we got Super Mario RPG and this one.
Yeah,
like, hey, is Nintendo about to go more
yeah
in that direction again? I don't know.
I guess my question is, how often does Nintendo use remakes to test the waters?
Oh, they use. I think they're using Bowser's Fury to test the water.
But that's a new. It's almost like a new side.
It was
game.
also added to
right. But it was also in 3D World, right?
3D World,
so how much of a test is it? Because what if people just don't buy it because of 3D World? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Well, okay, actually, hold on.
You are wrong.
No. I just think there's two ways of looking at it, right? Right. So I think there's a way of looking at it from okay, were they looking at sales as a way to test it, or do you more so mean like the developers were just working on it and testing ideas? Because, for example, we know that with Wind Waker HD, that was a testing ground for Breath of the Wild because they were using that to kind of work on the tech, the lighting engine, as a little bit of homework going into Breath of the Wild development. Yeah. So there's that, but that it's a testing ground in terms of them working with ideas and acquainting themselves with hardware. So then, from that perspective, it wouldn't apply to 1,000 Year Door for Switch because we're talking about the future on Switch 2, right? So what you're getting at is, are they using as a testing the water scenario for sales, like to see if it's going to like outdo Origami King? I don't know.
No, not in sales. And see, I think more in audience reaction to see how they adapt to 1,000 Year Door, because we have a new audience now, right? I didn't play 1,000 Year Door when it came out. Was it on GameCube? Was it GameCube?
Yeah, it's GameCube.
Yeah. I didn't play it back then. I think I was stuck on Mario Sunshine, Monkey Ball, Paper Mario Party.
Monkey Ball.
There were like certain games that I was stuck on. Paper Mario wasn't really one of them. I think it was still new back then, right? Paper Mario. Mm-hmm. Because before Paper Mario, there was Mario RPG, and so I'm like, wait, is this a sequel to Mario RPG? Because kind of,
they are,
right?
Yeah. Paper Mario, I think its code name was Mario RPG 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense because that's how I saw it back then when it came out. Like that looks like Paper Mario RPG, but that's what I mean. Like, this is a brand new generation, 100,000, 150 million users. This is the best time to test it. You know what I mean? Best time to release it. See how this Switch audience, like Josh was saying, this is a brand new audience, new mentality, new people, new mindset. And so maybe this is the time to test, to use us at the end of the Switch cycle as testers for what they have planned, moving forward.
I think that with the 1,000 Year Door, the reason that exists for the Switch, like the remake, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably number one. Nintendo was definitely aware that fans wanted to see that remade because there was this huge petition online a couple of years ago. It was kind of Arlo kicked it off and everybody's talking about it. Twitter, it started trending and stuff. I think they took notice on that. And also at the end of a console generation, Nintendo does like to bring in old games and remake them because it's easier to do. So that probably connected to them. Like, hey, they wanted to see 1,000 Year Door. We're doing remakes now.
Yeah.
Intelligent Systems is probably available to do it as well because they don't have anything huge in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably just a number of things making sense to them, and that's why they did it. So even though I don't know if they're like purposely testing any waters, I think that it could influence the developer to maybe make the next Paper Mario game more like the 1,000 Year Door if they hear so many people saying, hey, this is what we really like, go in this direction. So I think that it could end up influencing the next one. Whether or not they're releasing it specifically to test those waters, I don't know, because they already know that we want that with the huge petition, and they could look at the reaction videos of people crying. I've seen people crying when that got announced. And so, yeah, I think they know the love is there for the original Paper Mario format.
Yeah. Like when Luke Skywalker showed up on this, what's Mandalorian?
I mean, put it this way, right? So let's say they have zero intent to follow that formula, and they're already working on the next Paper Mario, and it's going in a different direction, right?
They're using real paper this time. Can you imagine?
But let's just say, or 1,000 Year Door comes out and sells 15 million copies, which it won't. But hypothetically speaking, let's say it does. Nintendo will be like, "Well, we have no choice but to eventually go back to this direction."
Yeah.
Like, if 1,000 Year Door sells 15 million, and every other Paper Mario sells like 4, then that sends a message. But of course, 15 million is that's just an example. It's probably not going to sell that much.
I think you guys are actually taking my point and restructuring it to make it make it make sense, because that's what I was actually.
Well, that's what we do because we're evil.
Yeah, because
someone said I looked evil earlier in the chat. So
that's what I basically was going for. I was like, maybe could this game be an influence to the next one, and then so that's basically what the question was. Because it was a fan favorite, could this game influence the next one? And you guys kind of mentioned like, it could be an influence for the next one.
Nintendo's teams are very famous for not paying attention to things that they should.
That's
though
true.
They are very much like, you know what, we're just going to do what feels right for each thing and look at each thing separately. They're also always wanting to do something totally different. So I do think the next Paper Mario will have a lot of weird different things, but they might take some things and put them into that format. Like,
influence.
hey, you have partners again. There's little Goombas with hair or something now, and he's your partner, and there's a bunch of them. So they could, that's kind of what I mostly want them to put back in, and maybe do something better with the battle system. But I think it'll be something new, but potentially something that will please people, of the classic games. I'm just excited to have 1,000 Year Door right now. I'm so excited about that game.
I'm excited because I didn't play it. My first time playing it, and I'm glad it's on Switch. Just like I have the Wii U. I have I bought when the Wii U shop was closing. I'm like, okay, right away I went and bought Twilight Princess, and I bought Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and I have them there, and I'm like, I don't want to play them there. I want them on Switch. And so I'm like, I'm still waiting for that. If I have to go back, I'll go back. But
listen, you better power on your Wii U, because there's that whole problem where if you don't power it on after so long, it just completely bricks.
Oh no, I do power it on. I have games out there that I play. Yeah,
I will power mine on once a month at least, just to make sure that it's not.
I just don't like playing on that big pad. I'm like more of a like a controller.
Yeah, my gamepad has to be tethered because the battery's been shot for years. I have to replace the battery.
Yeah.
Remember the little dock that they had for the gamepad to charge?
This is my
I have it somewhere.
Yeah,
this is the controller I play on. Stadia.
Okay,
controller.
Not bad.
cool. Yeah, I know you keep pushing that thing every chance you get because they were super cheap to get for a while.
Yeah, but wait, is it expensive now?
Yeah, the price has gone up a bit more. They're not as freely available. They stopped when out of production. So.
I got about 5 of them. I'm gonna sell it then. No, they're just so comfortable, man. They're the most comfortable.
I see. You're a scalper. You're the reason.
It's a discontinued product, dude.
Yeah, you're scalping the hell out of it, man.
I thought I saw a bunch of.
Why do you need 5 of those things?
I don't know. Just because I lose one.
I thought I saw a big stack of NES mini systems in the corner there. Scalping those.
He's waiting for the right price peak to drop those bad boys.
I mean, you know what? No, that I know it's a joke, but in all seriousness, people, if you have a Switch right now, buy a Switch, keep it in the box, and leave it there for a couple of years. Once Nintendo stops making them, they're gonna go up in price. Then you can
buy a couple of years, like a decade, and then you'll make big bank. You'll make over $1,000 easy.
Yeah, because
sealed Switch.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that the Nintendo Switch console itself could be like a really good emulation machine later on. Once the eShops and stuff close down, and there's really can't do much with it, they can become really good emulation machines.
By the way, this is not investment advice. I just want to clarify: we do not provide investment advice here.
Yes,
it is. It is.
Go buy a new copy of Super Mario Brothers
Mike,
Wonder.
we're gonna have to start making everyone sign contracts that say, I cannot be held responsible for anything you say on my show.
This is financial advice brought to you by Mike Odyssey, not Nintendo Prime. There you go.
And he'll give it to you for free over on X and Instagram as well, Mike Odyssey YT.
Yeah. Actually, let me go ahead and tweet that right now before I forget.
Oh God.
That being said, speaking of thinking about the future and retro, well, let's go to the retro of yesteryear. And that is the N64, because this is the 64th episode of season 2. So why not go back in the day to the N64? It's also on NSO. When I say it's also, technically the system isn't. It's a handful of the games are anyways. More than a handful. Actually, they put quite a few N64 games up on there. So I think we should just talk about the N64. And I think we can start by just going over what are some of our favorite games for that system and why. Because, I mean, it's such a classic platform. And this is right up Eric's alley. But I'll give him a moment because he's doing a little research right now. I'll probably see what exactly is on NSO, because I don't know if he's checked out which ones are on NSO versus he knows what games he likes, of course. So let's go with Mike Odyssey since he's interrupting me. What's some of your favorite N64 games?
Before I get into it, I have some tragic news to share with you guys before I get to it.
Are you banned?
No, I ran out of Dr. Pepper. Strawberry.
Oh no!
My stylish Dr.
Is that your last one in the whole house? Hold on, wait a second.
I gotta settle for water. They brought me a Waterloo sparkling drink. Like
I thought for a second it said Wonka. I'm like, wait a second. Did you
never heard of Waterloo? That sounds.
Then no, Wonka made a drink.
Waterloo is like a LaCroix, but a little better, I would say.
Yeah. I'm trying to get rid of soda, and
going with the
Zevia.
This is like cola, but not bad for you. So I'm addicted. I would drink Coca-Cola nonstop if I could, but can't. So.
All right, so Nintendo 64 games. I'm gonna first say one thing, and don't. Well, you can laugh if you want to. I never played the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask because I was scared at the moon. Okay,
scared of the moon?
Scared at that creepy face moon thing.
Right, I'll admit.
I'm like, what?
I'll admit that I chuckled a little bit, but that's fine.
The moon is scary in that game, though.
It is.
Yeah,
scary.
but like, how old were you when that game came out, Mike?
I was in my 20s.
It was 2000.
I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing a little. I mean, we had a lot scarier things going on in the world back then.
I was 9.
What
By
year?
the way, I was 14, and I still wasn't scared of the moon. But
yeah, I just didn't like the
laugh was a little creepy.
The laugh. Well, I haven't seen. I just saw the moon. I didn't see the laugh or anything. If it's even creepier, but I spent a long time on Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, of course, best ever in world history. GoldenEye
in world history.
GoldenEye was also awesome too. Perfect Dark.
But why? So you're giving a list, but what about those games make them like your favorites? What about them?
Oh,
we can all just rattle off a list of games, but why?
I think. Why? Why did I like them?
Yeah,
because I liked them.
It does say favorite games for the system and why.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and rewind.
Scramble the fairies.
Let's rewind a little bit. So
I can just literally just go read a list of 20 games and go, yep, that's my favorites. Have a good day.
Mario 64, because first thing was it was the first 3D Mario when Mario had a voice. It's a me, Mario. That was like the best thing. I love starting the game and just spending hours pulling Mario's nose and trying to just kind of like mess with his face at the beginning.
I thought it was good. I thought it was because you could drop penguins off the cliff. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting to that, right? I dropped every single penguin off the game. And whenever I got the star, I went back in there and just dropped penguins off the cliff and stuff like that. That was just fun, man. I don't know how people see it. Like, it's fun.
That's how you were making up for being scared of the moon. I gotta do something freaky. That moon man that messed me up.
I guess. Golden. I like Perfect Dark because it was a shooter, right? It's like a shooter thing.
It's a shooter game. Yeah.
I like shooter games, and I like kind of games that have a lot of story, driven like Battlefield and things like that. So that's why I like.
You got to settle the debate right now. This isn't going to settle anything. What one was better, Perfect Dark or GoldenEye?
I'm gonna go with GoldenEye just because I love 007.
I like Perfect Dark more.
Yeah. But
I
I
didn't
say,
play
it's an
Perfect Dark.
age-old debate from back then. Lots of playground debates over which one of those two games were
But to
better.
be honest, I mean, GoldenEye is the
They're
most.
both great, by the way. But
Yeah, it's the most recognizable, IP, GoldenEye. So when it comes to movies and games, video games, I play the game because I like the movie. With
sure, I
Sean
think that's why a lot of
Connery.
people checked it out. Yeah.
First GoldenEye, Sean Connery. That's how old I am.
I'm playing Wave Race right now.
Wait, race. I really can't go over every game and give you an explanation on why.
It's
So
okay.
what?
Just
Do I
like
pick just like two or three?
Pick maybe two more games.
Okay, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, loved it on PlayStation 2. On PlayStation 2, I played the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 on 64. I like making my own skate parks and just kind of my own skate parks used to consist just of the U shape. Because I just go like that and do tricks and just go by that and U shape. That's it, and try to get a high score like that. What else? What other game? And it was Cruising USA on 64.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Cruising
it was.
USA, baby.
Yeah.
Listen. I was hooked on that game on arcade. I loved Cruising. Select your card. So when I saw that on 64, I just went nuts. So that was one of the, I'm trying to mention games that are not really obvious, not like Mario 64 and Zelda and stuff like that. But yeah,
You mentioned Mario 64. That's okay. That's all right. No, that's good. That's good. That's a nice solid list there, man. Dude, N64 is such a great platform.
It's
Eric.
amazing.
Now I happen to know probably all of your favorite games on N64, but does everybody else know and why? Because every time we talk about what games should come back, you're always saying Snowboard Kids and
yes.
Conquer and
Yes.
So what are some of your favorite N64 games, but why? And if you don't want to repeat, like I know Mario 64 is one of your all-timers.
Mario 64 is one of my
Yeah.
all-timers. For the debate of Perfect Dark versus GoldenEye, I played a whole hell of a lot more of GoldenEye, but Perfect Dark had bots, and you could actually go against the computer and play multiplayer by yourself, and that was
Back
freaking
then,
awesome.
that was a big deal.
Yeah, that was one thing I really wish that GoldenEye had. If GoldenEye had that, that would have, it would have kicked the, wiped the floor. It wouldn't have even been a discussion. But yeah, so, man, those are my main go ones. There's always Pokemon Snap. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, so good.
Pokemon Snap was great.
God, that was back when I actually liked Pokemon.
Yeah, that was back when Pokemon was like a big part of our lives.
So, just being able to like float around in this world and, on this like tram type thing and try to capture Pokemon pictures. It was like the greatest thing.
Yeah, and it felt so realistic back then.
Right.
Graphics will never be better than this.
Yeah, right. Oh gosh, I'm just trying to think of other things and just not repeating what I've said in the past, because this is my wheelhouse of.
Yeah, so it should be that hard. Wheelhouse.
Oh God. One that I really want to see come back is NFL Blitz. Because and the 64 version, not the Xbox version. Because isn't
the 64 version basically the arcade version?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The Xbox version was the like realistic players with the
that was fun.
It was fun, but
I know I like the story progression in the Xbox one, but there wasn't enough of it.
That was
it needed about twice as much.
I think that was one of the first games to actually have a physics engine for football.
And it would show the actual injuries. Like when you break a
was
a
actually
kneecap,
pretty cool.
It would show the kneecap literally breaking with the bone
meld
and everything.
of both of them. Maybe a meld of both of them.
You know what? You know what the Xbox One reminds me of?
Yeah.
That movie, Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
Anyways,
just trying to. Golly,
man, Eric's drawing blanks. That's unusual.
No. I'm just don't want to keep.
You shoot blanks off him, buddy.
Because I played a small number of games.
He's not bricked up. It's all right.
Absolute butt ton. So, the Star Wars or the South Park game was actually pretty fun. There was a
Oh,
couple
that
of
was
them
hilarious. I remember that
Oh,
one.
the South
Yeah,
Park
friggin-
ones, the old school ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good Star Wars
There was-
games on there.
Yeah. Friggin' throwing snowballs at the turkey
Oh, yeah.
with the South Park game. That was friggin' awesome. Yeah, I mean, just playing with family and playing with friends. That was kind of my wheelhouse of what I owned, and that's why
Like
a lot of these games.
dude, every
are-
game he had, I swear, was multiplayer. I don't even know if you,
Yeah.
besides Mario 64,
Yeah.
if you even had a
I
single
mean,
player game.
we used to play quarterback club in 98, 99. So
Yep.
I had 98, you had 99.
Yep.
On
99,
then,
they had the Brett Favre glitch.
Yes, the Brett. Yep.
Run with
the
your
Brett glitch,
quarterback
yep,
to the
glitch, yep.
right. Any guy that comes to tackle you, just turn your left shoulder to him, and it's a break tackle every time.
Hell yeah.
99-yard touchdown runs, baby.
No,
It's the dumbest bug in the game.
yeah,
No, actually, there's some other really dumb bugs out there, but
yeah.
Well, back then you couldn't update the game to fix them. so it
no,
was just
that,
kinda like,
that
well,
glitch is just there forever.
Yeah. And then I know one other one that we played a lot of was like Fox College basketball.
Yeah, what a weird one.
Yeah.
What a weird game.
I don't know.
It wasn't
but we
even a
played
good
the
game.
Absolute living hell out of it.
Wasn't even a good game.
We'd be
at
like
all.
UW Milwaukee and just try to take them to the finals just
Yeah.
because.
Wasn't even a good game. Yeah, and I'll just let you throw. I'm gonna let you throw it out there just because I the more times this game comes up,
What,
the
snowboard
more
kids?
times. Yes,
Yes, I
Yes,
want that.
that kid- that
is
game needs to come back.
100,000%.
Snowboard
I
kids for
want that
life.
game.
Come on, 1 or 2. I don't care.
Give me a combo pack and a third one.
There we
who owns
go.
that? Who's the developer? Atlas? Is that Atlas?
Yes, it was Atlas.
So they're still around. They could definitely do this.
Yeah, exactly. Now's
Do
the time
we-
for remakes and remasters, Atlas.
At
Let's
least
go!
I think the first one for sure was Atlas. I'm not sure if the second one was or not. Let me-
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Snowboard Kids.
Do we not claim the DS one? We don't. We pretend.
No,
that
we pretend that one doesn't exist. That was
The style was
bastard.
way different, and
that was a bastardized version of the game.
Snowboard Kids 2 was Racine. RACJIN. Oh no, publisher was Atlas.
Yeah. Come
there
on,
was.
Atlas. Bring them back,
Yeah,
baby.
right?
Let's go. We're ready. And drop some bonus content. Let's do it.
I'm amazed those aren't on the Switch Online app.
Yeah,
Seems like they would be on there.
Yeah, they're
they
still
would
not.
be.
Especially
those
with
would be
Nintendo,
great
with
games for
Nintendo and Atlas being so chummy. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude, I remember when Wave Race came out. I
I'm
was
playing Wave Race right now, baby.
I was
So good.
I was like, my God, it looks so realistic. The sound at the water is just like go. It was
the
right now,
waves.
freaky,
But
but when
Wave
it
Race
came out-
64 was the bomb, man.
I,
even
still
love the
think
Game Boy
graphics are
one,
good.
but yeah. 'Cause
that
I got
was-
addicted to it on the Game Boy, and then I played the N64 one, and I'm like, dude, this is so good. What is happening?
Oh,
Why is this like the?
man.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, without trying to repeat myself from past
Yeah. From
episodes
past
and
episodes, you're fine.
anything
yeah.
like that. Yeah, those.
I just
kinda
wanted
my-
you to get that snowboard. So
Oh,
like,
yeah. No,
anytime we can
that's-
bring up snowboard kids, we
Anytime
keep
I can
bringing
bring
it
that
up.
up, I will bring that up.
In case someone at Nintendo's listening, get on the phone, please.
Yes.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah, is Mario Tennis on NSO?
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is.
I
Yeah.
gotta go check it out.
Josh, what are some of your favorites? What have we got going?
Well, I'm gonna go with one we've already been saying, but Wave Race is definitely one that
Yes.
stands out for me. Even to this day, like Andre said, it still looks good. I look at Wave Race and I'm like, you know what? Yes, it's a Nintendo 64 game, but there's just something about the use of color
Yeah.
and the designs of the wetsuits are still cool and stuff. And the water, I play that now. Yeah, I look at the water now and I'm like, how did they do this on the Nintendo 64? It's really impressive.
Yeah.
And then not only is the water like visually cool, but like I hadn't played Wave Race for a long time. And then like 3 or 4 years ago, I popped it in after like not playing for 15 years. And I was really surprised by how, because I thought it was going to be like Mario Kart on water. It really isn't. The gameplay is not just a standard racing game. You really do have to care about the physics of the waves.
Yeah.
So for a Nintendo 64 game, I think that was like a launch game, wasn't it? That was like, Eric, get on that.
Okay.
Islet Wings and Mario 64 were launch titles, so it may have been maybe a 97
Close
title.
launch window.
I don't remember though.
But like
Eric's got Google, he'll figure it out.
to be so, I think it was early in this console's life. So I feel like to do that so early in the system's life, to have this like pretty advanced physics engine.
September 27th,
It was
1996.
Yeah, it was the same
the
year.
initial
It was
release
in the
date.
launch
Still
year.
really early, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really impressed by the physics engine. Just so fun to play, and trying to weave in between the buoys and stuff. And that has a lot of like risk and reward going on in the gameplay, where it's like, can I get over that sunken ship or something? Like, can I go over that area? And you got to time it just right with the waves. So, and I'm also obsessed with like the summertime in the ocean. I used to live in Florida and stuff, so it's such a vibe. Wave race is playing it with another friend. I don't think is that 4-player or just 2.
It's 4 players.
Yeah, so it's just great. I really love
It makes
that
sense
game.
as a launch title because you probably wanted to really push like the 4-player option, because that was like the big one of the big N64 gimmicks, 4 people, 1 console.
Yeah. It also definitely showed like how powerful the 3D graphics of the N64 were,
Yeah.
So that one stands out big time for me. The music is good too. Is that like iconic?
So good.
Yeah, that's
So good.
So yeah, it's such an underappreciated series. I think everybody talks about like F-Zero. We need a new F-Zero, and I agree. But it's like, let's throw Wave Race in there as well.
If I would say like there's a lot of racing series Nintendo has, but the 2 they need to bring back are F-Zero and Wave Race because they're very unique and super fun.
Right. I kind of feel like maybe Nintendo's just like, we got Mario Kart, so we're settled for our racing game. And it's like, no, you can do others other than Mario Kart. So Wave Race 64. And of course, they made a sequel for the GameCube. And as big of a fan of GameCube as I am, I still think I prefer the N64 game. I like Blue Storm a lot, but the N64 game kind of did some things better. I think the art style, like just the use of color. I even think, even though they're maybe more generic, I think I like the characters and the jet skis more in the N64 game than the GameCube one. I do love both those games. Another one
simplicity might help it a little bit.
Yeah. I think they got like name brands in the N64 one, like Kawasaki. In there. Yeah. I don't know if the wetsuits are name brand, but
I can't tell. There's a logo, but it's too blurry to read.
It's funny when they brought that to like the Wii. I think it's the Wii Virtual Console. They like put Wii signs in the banners on the side and stuff. I think there might even be Wii U signs or something. But another one that I have to mention, because I want to be a Pokemon fan, but it's never sucked me in. Even as a kid in the 90s, it never got me. But Pokemon Snap, man, Pokemon Snap is pretty amazing. Because it gives you like the opportunity to engage in the fandom of Pokemon, but in like this totally different way, to where if you're not clicking with like the battling and stuff, the turn-based battling, it's just, you get to see all these Pokemon and collect photos of them. Felt like a theme park ride, which is something I'm really into. Like, I love theme parks. I love Universal. Epic Universe opening next summer in Florida. I'm so excited about. So we need a Pokemon Snap theme park ride at Universal. And I think, hey, by the way, Nate, you like rumors for the gaming thing? I'm going to give you guys a little rumor here. There may or may not be a Pokemon ride being built in Japan right now, where the Spider-Man ride used to be.
And I can confirm that there is one that is replacing the Simpsons right here in Orlando.
I was just gonna say Simpsons is on its way out in like 2 more years or so, and they're tearing it all down because the building's very old. That's where Back to the Future used to be, and it's losing its like stability. So they're going to be making like a whole Pokemon area there in like 3-4 years in Orlando. So
crazy.
You heard it here first.
A Snap
Nintendo
ride needs to happen.
I remember hearing something about a Zelda ride and a Pokemon ride.
No, what
Zelda is Islands of Adventure.
Lands of Hyrule, which is replacing the Lost Continent in Universal Studios here. They already closed down Lost Continent, so the construction already started. They're tight-lipped. But Nate, who did they spot here in my backyard wearing hat like those construction hats? 2 very important people.
Oh yeah. What was it, Miyamoto and Aonuma?
Aonuma. They're both
there's no way Aonuma would be there if it wasn't Zelda related.
Yeah. But Zelda's going at Islands of Adventure, not at Epic Universe. But still, it's
Why can't it all be in the same place?
It's Universal, dude. Universal's banking like crazy. They got Mario. Donkey Kong is opening. Luigi's Mansion is also rumored.
There's going to be a time that Universal Park is literally like 75% Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, they lost all Marvel IPs, which was 75% Marvel IPs, right? Like, but so they're replacing it, and they lost the Simpsons. The Simpsons is now Disney property, so that's why they're kind of getting rid of
Harry Potter, though, right?
Yeah, the Harry Potter. No, they're making Harry Potter bigger. And Epic
Yeah,
Universe.
they still have Harry Potter stuff there.
Yeah.
They got Diagon Alley and all that stuff. They still got stuff going with that. But that's because that series is still popular and they're still working on like trying to get more movies and stuff. They have the author writing new stuff. So
There's a rumor movie coming with all the original cast.
Oh
yeah, they're supposed to be happening, the years later.
Yeah.
And that one's gonna do like big numbers for the first movie.
And for
Because
the part,
all the other ones haven't really felt like Harry Potter to me.
yeah. I like Fantastic Beasts because it's a prequel, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think Hogwarts Legacy is even better than all the Fantastic Beasts movies so far. The story and stuff it tells, it takes place even before all of that, but it makes sense and it lines up, and it actually, I'm like, cool, this is the good story so far.
Wow.
But like, it'll be huge when they do the in the future, kind of like they did with Star Wars. In the future with the original cast, the first one's going to be huge, and they just better hope they nail it, because that's what's going to get people to keep watching after. If they screw up that first one, because all the Harry Potter movie fans will give that first one when what Hermione and Ron and Harry, they're all back, and then if it sucks, well then all right, well no one.
Have you guys been to Harry Potter and Universal Studios?
I have not.
I mean, the train ride itself, just by itself, is incredible.
Is it?
The
I've
train
always
ride,
wanted to go on it.
You get on the train, right, and of course you see Universal leaving, but all of a sudden the walls change and you're in Harry Potter land or whatever, right? And you see these what do you call them? The ghosts or whatever,
The mentors.
the mentors, yeah.
The Dementors. Oh,
It feels so real, man. They fill it with man. You have to experience it.
Chip Chop Chop is trying to troll me in the chat. He's saying, "When's the Jaws ride coming back?" Listen, too soon, Chip Chop Chop.
Oh man,
They had to close Jaws for more Harry Potter. I'm still not okay with that.
Yeah.
I've actually never been to a Universal park ever.
Will you go when Epic Universe opens at any point, or is that a thing you?
It is a desire to want to go. Yes.
Okay.
I think the first time I go, I won't bring the kids. It's really expensive to bring the kids all across the country to go. But I think there's something when it opens up that maybe like me, Eric, maybe a couple of you guys get together. We just all go for a weekend.
That'd be
or
fun.
something.
That'd be awesome.
I got people. I got
Maybe
friends,
Yulia
like-
wants to come with. I have no idea. I'll have to ask her.
and whenever that is, I got friends who work at Universal Studios, so they can help me out with some tickets. It's been a lot.
Well,
Listen, living in Florida or living in Hollywood.
now, do we know anyone that's like friends with like Delta or some airline that can hook us up as well? Let's just get the whole trip hooked up.
I remember one
Taking
time.
sponsors right now.
I remember one time I got a part-time at Disney, just because when you work at Disney, you get tickets and your whole family goes. So I just had that part-time job just for that.
Well, you worked at Disney?
Yeah, I worked at Disney. Yeah, Disney
Like
World.
Magic Kingdom or Epcot or?
I was a magic photographer, photo pass, whatever. And so I worked at Magic Kingdom. And then
So did I.
Yeah.
This is twinning.
What year?
Mine, 2012 and 2013, so it was a while ago.
No, so mine was like closer to like 2015 around there.
Okay, so you came after me, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked in character performing, and it was like really fun at first and amazing. And then when I was done, like by the end of the second year, I was like, all right, I'm done. I did this.
I auditioned for Aladdin.
Did you play a character?
Have you heard of a gentleman called Peter Pan?
Who's that?
That totally was you, wasn't it? Oh.
I know that dude. I knew him.
Oh, you did. You knew
Were
him.
you Tinkerbell?
I almost dated Tinkerbell. I dated Belle, but not Tinkerbell.
Okay.
Yeah. My entire family. I still have family who works. I think that work at Disney somewhere. Friends. So it's not, when you're here, it's not easy. It's not hard to get into theme parks because you know somebody who knows somebody.
Right,
Who has extra
right.
tickets
Yeah. Okay, so I got him. We got the hookups. I just gotta fly down and sleep on the ground in a box. I'm just kidding.
In the Florida humidity.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. When I go to the wrong part, a gator might get me. Look out.
Winter's
That's
like
true.
the best time in Florida because it's like still summer, but comfortable summer.
It's like you don't know what's gonna come up that day. Is it gonna be 30? It's gonna be 80? You don't know. Just have your jacket and have your shorts.
I mean, a cold day here is still warm, so
Yeah, I don't like
for
it.
me.
Dude, ever since I lived upstate New York and I fell
15 below in this little puddle of water to my waist in ice water. Very next day, I was in Florida and never looked back.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? No cold.
Interesting.
It's too cold. 60, too cold.
Yeah, all my friends in Florida, because I grew up in Illinois. I live in Illinois now, but when I lived in Florida, it would be like 70 degrees, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't go outside today. I need to get my jacket." Yeah, like my girlfriend was always like, "I need 2 jackets on." I'm like, "What?" It's like summer out there. I'm gonna go sun tanning. So,
As someone,
I'm gonna go
as
take a
someone
swim
who's
quick. I
grown
don't know
up
what you're
in
talking
Miami. I grew up in Miami. I'm still in Miami now. I've left for my 20s, but I came back. I don't believe in that. I don't understand how people are like that. Like, it's like, listen, bro, wear shorts. It's Miami.
No, so we don't have a lot of opportunity to wear.
And those people came to my house. We keep my house at 66. They'd be like, "Why is it winter in your house?" Right? No, it's not winter.
I went to a Nintendo like Wii U private press event in Miami. That was my first time being in Miami. It was like a 4-hour drive to get down there.
Wow.
It was it's pretty amazing. It's definitely a lot different than like Orlando. Miami is a different vibe than Orlando.
Sure.
Yeah,
Dude, the driving is nuts. The driving is nuts.
It reminded me of like Chicago, driving around in Miami, where it's like crazy traffic and everything.
Well, I mean, if you're just by like the downtown area, you know.
I think we were right next to the beach where this was. It was at like a club. They like rented out a club for the Wii U.
Was it an island? Was it South Beach, or is it just like?
Oh God, it was. I can't remember exactly.
Wynwood.
I'd say that the DoubleTree by the airport in Miami. So
I can't remember the exact location.
I mean, they're all within like 10-ish minutes of each other. So
yeah, it was like behind the building. It was like right by the beach area. So I don't know where that would be.
I think there was like, was there a convention? Oh, you said was it?
It was in a club. Yeah, they like rented out a club. It was really fancy. I felt way more important than I should have been. I was like, oh God, I'm a complete fraud.
Why am I here? Appropriately to be at this place.
Well, they like Nintendo paid for like your car to be valeted or whatever, like the park and everything.
Oh, they were really treating. They were really treating.
They didn't know the Wii U was going to be a failure yet. Otherwise, they would have told me.
They were acting like this is going to be the cream of the crop system.
They want to save their money.
It was so funny because they had Pikmin 3 there, and I was like starstruck just from seeing Pikmin 3 on a screen in front of me. I was like shaking with the gamepad playing and stuff. I still have a Wii U cookie that is that lasted longer than the Wii U from that event. I have a Wii U bottle of water that was from the Miami event, and it was like sucking into itself from the water. So,
Nice.
But Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64.
Snap. There you go. There we go.
That was a hell of a
Bring it back.
That was a hell of a
welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast.
I'm waiting for Pokemon VR on Switch 2.
Listen, new Pokemon Snap on new Pokemon Snap on the Switch. I think that was honestly better than the original. I love that game.
It's really good. And then when you beat it and then the extra pass open, you're just like,
a lot of replay
dude,
value.
You like doubled the game. This is sick.
They had free DLC.
Can you play VR mode? Can you play?
No, they didn't have VR as an update for that.
I'm actually shocked they didn't because we have that Labo VR. That's the game that made the most sense to use it with.
Yeah, right.
I think it's probably because the game wouldn't be able to run, would be my guess.
Yeah, because isn't the movement
that could
slow?
be the case.
Like you can't just like zoom around the camera, right? But if you have VR, you have free.
Because they really went all out with the visuals. Bandai Namco did a great job.
Yeah. That VR thing you guys mentioned. I remember in Mario Odyssey, it's just this thing where you just can't even move. Like the camera's locked, right? Yeah. And you just put the goggles on. You can like look around in a still scene. Am I right on that, or am I misremembering?
I didn't try it.
I didn't try it in Odyssey. I tried it in Breath of the Wild. You could literally play the whole game with it.
Really?
But that's I'm not saying it's enjoyable.
Okay,
but you can do it.
Is it like
Nintendo? And I kept thinking, Nintendo, why are you allowing this? But you never sold an official strap. So they expect you to do this the whole time.
Oh God. Okay.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna play Breath of the Wild that way. I'm sorry.
Is the resolution like Nintendo
Not
64
good.
resolution?
It ain't good. It ain't good.
Okay. Yeah. So that explains why Pokemon Snap doesn't have that, probably.
Yeah, they want to maintain the integrity of the visuals.
One more I will say for my Nintendo 64 games is Diddy Kong Racing. I'm very sad. We're probably never going to get a new Diddy Kong Racing because of the
Probably
Rare.
never.
Maybe we can though, because with Rare and
yeah.
Microsoft being kind of friendly, who knows?
They keep putting Rare games on NSO.
Well, that's
I think-
Nintendo. You need to get on the phone with Phil Spencer.
You know,
Make a
I'll say
deal.
this. I think I wouldn't be surprised if supposedly there's a Banjo-Kazooie project in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out pretty early on for Switch 2. I don't know if it'll be a day and date, but the better selling version is going to be on Switch 2.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the
If
audience.
Microsoft likes money, duh.
Right?
Go to where
Right,
the
they do.
audience for that game is.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
Xbox.
so cool because like I of course loved Mario 64 or Mario Kart 64, and Diddy Kong Racing was like Mario Kart 64, but so much more. You had this like story element. You drove around an open world setting, which that hasn't even really been done to this day. I can't think of any other like racing game that had that. The characters are a little generic looking back at them. I don't know if anybody's thinking about Drumstick the rooster or whatever he was anymore, or like the yellow mouse or anything. But back in those days, it was like, sure, okay.
Yeah, that was great back then.
Right, yeah. Conquer, we didn't know would become a psychopath eventually. That's a bit of an
That's
unfortunate check.
wild. Yeah.
In Diddy Kong Racing, he's like, "Let's go racing, yay!" And then he's the following game.
Then he's a drunk. In the next
Yeah,
game.
he's like a crazy
Like,
person.
In the
hell
morning,
That-
he's bright and cheery, but at night
There you go.
he's
No,
another animal.
it's one of those. I kind of think his appearance in that game was just like, dude, Conquer also does drugs, and they couldn't show us that yet. And that was him on drugs in that game. And this was him now chilled out in the afterlife from the drugs. His world's wrecked, and he's getting drunk.
Right.
Percent chance it comes to NSO. Conquer's bad for a day.
Ooh, 50.
Ooh.
I think I'd say 50%.
That's pretty good.
I think it's like an 80% chance. It will be on Switch 2. It won't be on
Okay.
the normal Switch.
Conquer's
And
bad for
I
a
say
day.
that they've already crossed the barrier of putting M-rated games on, so they're clearly willing to do it. And it is a beloved game by a lot of different people. So I think it's one of those they'll wait for early years of Switch 2, early years before they start
It could
advertising.
still be a
to
Switch 1
families.
game. I mean, it's
It
NSO.
could still put it on there theoretically. I kind of think we're going to get to a point when they, at some point in Switch 2, where it's kind of like a hard cutoff where we stop releasing the new NSO games on the old platform to kind of encourage people to head on over.
Well, what about what's
Um,
the percent chance for Diddy Kong Racing? Because that's what we were supposed to be talking about.
Diddy Kong Racing, I think that should be significantly higher.
Is that 90%?
I'd give that a 70%. I think that could.
I
I think
think-
that
I
could
think
come out this
100.
year.
Once they
Okay.
I think that's an announcement that
Sounds
comes. I think it's an
Yeah.
announcement that comes along with like when they announce a new Donkey Kong or whatever. Like, hey, here's
Like,
a
like
new
what
May
if
or
NSO
they-
game.
June.
They still haven't
May or
added
June.
Donkey Kong 64 either. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
they should add Diddy Kong Racing. and
They
Donkey
could have
Kong
literally a
64.
whole batch of Donkey Kong games just drop. You know,
A
Yeah.
barrel
When-
of them. What do you mean a batch of them? A barrel of Donkey
a
Kong.
barrel of them. My
Yeah,
bad.
that's true.
My bad. Sorry.
Am I the only one here that actually does not like Donkey Kong 64? Am
I don't like.
alone in
I
that?
don't like it.
No, you're not alone.
Okay.
You're not
No, you're
alone.
not alone. I don't like it.
I think I'm a little younger than you
I
guys.
want them to attempt another one. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
today they
definitely.
could do a much better job. But I think it was like really experimental back then, and they just didn't quite have it down. They were on the right path. There's some good ideas in it, but
I love Donkey Kong 64, but I was also a child, which
Yeah.
didn't
Okay.
have. You know, when you're a
expectations
child,
were low.
you can't really tell like what's bad and what's good. Like I
I don't
didn't even-
know. ET was still
Listen,
pretty bad to me,
Listen,
and I was.
I
a little
remember
one.
Superman 64. I was like, oh, this is an interesting game.
Superman.
And
Yeah,
that's
no,
the worst
I
game
remember
ever.
80.
It
Why
was-
can't I fly through these damn loops? What is going on? I'm
Yeah,
trying to turn around. The game won't let me turn.
Superman was awesome.
Dude, I got mad at Superman. I'd throw the cartridge against the wall and it broke. And I was like, well, not returning that one to
Yeah.
Best Buy.
Oh, and very, very quickly, I'll just throw this out there because to this day I still love the series. Mario Party. I was so and still am so. I was just recently playing this Mario Party on the N64.
Mhm.
I don't know, like for me, I have something about like wanting to collect a lot of things in real life or whatever, you
Sure.
know, Amiibo or whatever it might be. I have like 300 pairs of shoes, so I'm into collecting things.
Yeah.
And so Mario Party kind of had that vibe of like this big collection of mini games. And I remember having like Nintendo Power back in the day, and they had like many pages dedicated to just showing the mini games in like Mario Party 2.
Oh.
And yeah, so
that's
like
sweet.
Mario Party on the Mario Party on the N64 was unique in the sense that you usually didn't see a bunch of sequels to a Mario game like that. We didn't get 3 Mario Karts, we didn't get 3 Mario Tennises or anything like that. It was such a like open-ended idea, which comes along so rarely, to have something that's like, hey, you know what? We got to keep this going without it seeming bad. And there's been a few speed bumps along the way in the series for sure. Mario Party 9 and 10, Super Mario Party, all the handheld versions except for the DS. But other than those, it's been good. So yeah, Mario Party on 64 was huge for me back in the day. Loved it. Still do.
Awesome.
Agreed.
All right. Andres, you got any you want to throw in?
I could go all night. I'm not gonna because I got a cutoff. Well, this is actually I'm already at my cutoff. But
that's why I was trying to get to you next so you can get a few
I'll finish this segment. So I'll try and focus on games that haven't been mentioned yet. And if I accidentally mentioned something that's already been mentioned, I'm sorry. I was playing.
That happens. We love this console, man.
Yeah. By the way, even though I said I wouldn't focus on things that have already been mentioned, Wave Race is amazing. You know, but F-Zero X, F-Zero X is fantastic. I mean, if F-Zero GX is my favorite racing game ever, but F-Zero X is like a really good like prior entry. It's super fast. Death Race is really fun. A lot of the mechanics were in terms of 3D were. I mean, obviously there's the initial F-Zero for Super Nintendo, but it's such a good game. And then like the heavy metal music, it just makes it so badass. It's just such a fun, cool game. But another one I'll mention is Paper Mario. Something I love about the Mario RPG games in general, and this was kind of, for me, was the start. It kind of gives us an avenue to explore the Mushroom Kingdom in a way we can't explore them in the actual 3D Mario games. Like the 3D Mario games are always sort of limited. Like they don't let you actually like kind of explore and see the in between. The Mario RPG games, they kind of let you see, oh, there's a Mushroom Kingdom. There are towns where the Toads live. Like I like seeing that stuff and getting involved with the characters in the story. And Paper Mario is the first one to do that. And so I really like that game that's a big reason why. Going beyond that.
Not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. I just want to say how ashamed I am of myself and how embarrassed I am that I did not include that. I've been working on
leaving it for me.
I've been working on a Paper Mario Christmas special for like years now. So the fact that I did not mention that is actually. Let me see if I can show this real quick. All right.
Oh wait, we're gonna see part of it. Oh no, what is going on? Here we go.
Holy cow!
Oh man, dude! Ever since he first teased, that's one of the things you've been teasing that, and like the Luigi's Mansion one, and like I've been drooling for years, and then you close the channel, and I'm like, no, we're never gonna see it.
So the fact this whole room actually around me is surrounded by Paper Mario sets made in real life. That's like reminiscent of the toy box you might from the original game. So I'm humiliated that I didn't think of Paper Mario. I'm sorry. I'm
literally staring at Paper Mario everywhere and didn't think of Paper Mario.
I didn't mean to humiliate you. I'm such a terrible person. Clearly, I'm the villain. So there we go. But going beyond Paper Mario, another one that kind of keep in mind, I played N64 as a little kid, right? So everything to me hit me on a different level. Like, I could talk about Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64. Those are like obvious. Like those games just took me away. But another one that took me away was Yoshi's Story. Like, even though it was a 2D game, like it was cool exploring the world as Yoshi. Like for me as a kid, I just saw Yoshi as, okay, I saw him in Super Mario World. All right, that's cool. Right. But then like Yoshi's at the end of Mario 64. This is a game where you get to play as Yoshi. And like as a kid playing that game, that perspective, that atmosphere really drew me in. Another 2D game, even though we're talking about N64, Kirby's Crystal Shards. Love that game. That was my first Kirby game, and it was just so good, to combine the powers, the music. I was sucked into that one. And then I'll say Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie, what's interesting about Banjo-Kazooie, it almost feels Mario Odyssey feels almost more like a sequel to Banjo-Kazooie than it does to Mario 64.
100%. Yep, I felt that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, you can transform into different characters, the world, and how you explore it. It's a good time, and it has so much personality. I feel like that's something that, I mean, obviously, we don't really get Rare games anymore, but Rare had so much personality with their games. Like, they put out a lot of games, but I think they really fit with Nintendo because of just how much they had their own unique spin, their own like quirkiness to them. I don't think anyone batted an eye when you saw like a Banjo-Kazooie, or maybe we'll Conquer a little bit because of like it had the darker themes, but they fit Nintendo back then, and it was a good time.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's so funny because as we're going through these lists and I'm looking at the chat, I'm realizing just how many amazing games there really are on the N64. You know, Nintendo Talk just said Smash Brothers. A few other people said Smash as well. I mean, I think we probably Nate, did you avoid saying Zelda games just because they were so obvious?
I haven't said anything yet.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go.
We didn't mention the obvious ones so Nate could take them.
Yes.
And yet I'm going to go with some that aren't quite as obvious.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my turn yet. Is it my turn?
It's your
turn.
You're
Okay.
up.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to give you like the abridged version.
Shadowgate 64. I don't know how many people have played that, but Shadowgate 64 is kind of like an Elder Scrolls kind of game. Before that series got huge, and it's really good. It's a pretty hardcore game, especially when I was a kid. It was very hardcore, but I really enjoy it. I think it's probably on some other platforms, but I played it on 64. Maybe it never went anywhere else because it was called specifically Shadowgate 64. But very good. I don't even know if we got sequels because I was a kid and I didn't always know if there were sequels to these games back then. That was when I got really into big RPG. And then Rogue Squadron, throw out another third-party one. I don't know. If you guys ever played the original Rogue Squadrons, you know why people were so excited about Rogue Squadron coming back in the more recent iteration from EA that ended up just being okay. Apparently, they just released something for it to actually make it good again. I have no idea. I'm not playing the EA one because I have a hard time with most of EA's games these days because I just don't think they care anymore. But I still buy Madden every year, so I guess I'm still a shill in some ways. That's the NFL, though. The NFL has me hooked. It's not EA. And so Rogue Squadron, though, was really awesome, and that obviously led into the sequels that we got on GameCube and PS2 and stuff. I also, to go with a couple obvious ones, I can't let it go without mentioning the Zelda games. I just recently beat Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on Nintendo Switch Online, which for me, for Majora's Mask in particular, that was my first time beating the game in 20 years. It had been a long time since I've actually even seen the end, and like going through the Moon Children and like the deep, actually like very in-depth words that they say that I never really quite grasped when I was a kid, of like how in-depth that the In the Moon segment really is. And like, dude, it's like a journey through your soul, man. It's like a very soul-searching. I know about it because I wrote editorials about it when I got older, but I never re-experienced it. I just always went back and watched like a YouTube video to like get the quotes I needed to actually re-experience it after journeying through the entire game. Was just when I could actually understand what it was. I'm like, man, I now understand why we had so many Zelda theories built around this stuff, because this is like, holy crud. This is very deep for a game that was meant to be played by kids. So I really love the Zelda games. And
9.
Everyone always gives me flack that Ocarina of Time is out of my top 10 Zelda games, but Ocarina of Time is why I'm here today. When I was a kid, that led me to making a fan website called Zelda Domain, which ultimately led all the way to me being a YouTuber. So, and that was all the way back in 1998. 99, I think, is when I opened the website on geocities.com. Website maker.
I was the color guy.
Yeah, he was the color guy. That was back before we had the fancy CSS and PHP. So if you changed the color on your layout of something, you had to go to every page on your website and change that color code. And Eric would do the tedious work for me, because I'm like, dude, I'm literally writing like 100-page walkthroughs. Someone's got to like handle this because I'm going crazy. Anyways,
bro, I'm looking through footage of this Shadowgate 64. It's blowing my mind. I was like, this is for N64?
Yeah, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
It looks kind of like a really dark Elder Scrolls game.
Yes, that's what I said. It was like an Elder Scrolls. Yeah, dude, it's really, really good.
Like, I feel like something creepy is gonna be around the corner at any point. I'm kind of terrified.
Oh, there is a few points that got me with some of the stuff going on, and it wasn't specifically a horror game, but just the atmosphere. It's a very good game
right here.
Yeah, it's a very good game. The story is pretty dark, so that's why the theming's pretty dark.
I can see how slow paced it is, so I can see how like people could probably be like, this is too slow paced for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to be into those kind of games, and I'm someone that I grew up playing a game called Zork on PC and Return to Zork, and those are very slow paced RPG decision making games that, trust me, I think they're amazing, but other people that have never played those kind of games before will think they suck. It is what it is. You had to grow up in the era of where your RPG used to be a text-based game that would say, do you want to go north to the forest or right to the well of mystery? Oh, the well of mystery. That sounds good. You went to the well and drowned. Game over. So Zork was like originally was a text-based game that turned into a visual thing for. Anyways, that's setting that aside. Other N64 games. Look, we briefly touched upon what happened to Conquer, but Conquer's Bad Fur Day is amazing. That is a Banjo-Kazooie Mario 64 level game for me. The platforming in it's awesome. The storytelling is great. You couldn't believe Nintendo published the game. There's a Nintendo logo on the box, and it seems like the most look, the platforming fine. The story, the characters, some of the comedy, you're fighting a pile of shit. Like there's all this going on that you'd be like, Nintendo would never let this happen. And Nintendo, I mean, apparently there was some stuff behind the scenes where Nintendo didn't want the game to happen, but it doesn't really matter. I didn't know that as a kid. I just knew this game kicked ass. And it was awesome. And I will say single player wise, after Xbox got it, great job with the remaster in single player on Xbox. It actually looks pretty damn good and it plays pretty damn well. But the N64 version has a version of the multiplayer that we've never seen since. And I am stoked about that multiplayer. It is what is it? It's you versus the teddy bears, right? Or something like that. Gosh, I haven't played it in so long. Anyways, the multiplayer is amazing.
Yeah, the weasels versus the teddy bears.
Yeah, the weasels versus the teddy bears. That's what it was. None of this. What is it in the Xbox one where you're just pissing on people all the time or whatever? Or was that in the N64?
No, that was the 64.
That was the 64 one. Okay, dude, I get confused.
Yeah,
we spent a lot of time playing both.
Yeah,
and then
the Xbox one was.
We concluded the Xbox multiplayer wasn't quite as good. It's still okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But once you played the better, you played the better. I kind of, anyways, I can go on forever about stories like that. And then maybe one other one. There's one other one I wanted to toss out there that wasn't brought up by anyone. I just had it on my screen, of course.
Some people are saying Turok. Turok is a good one.
Yes,
Turok was a good one.
Oh, I loved it. I'm glad they remastered it on Switch. It was so good.
Yeah, Turok was another really great one out there. Maybe it was on this list here that I saw.
I'm really surprised.
Turok too.
Yeah, there was 2 Turoks.
Yep.
Just while you're looking for that, I was just going to comment. I'm really surprised that Nintendo allowed Rare to make an animation of Conker chainsawing Nintendo's logo in half.
Yes.
I feel like they probably wouldn't let somebody do that nowadays because they're very obsessed with like image and brand. So it'd kind of be like, no.
I kind of think they might not care today.
And then actually on top of it, calling it a fun stupid logo too.
I mean, they let Mario have guns. So like,
these kind of like futuristic guns.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but still.
So that might be. Mr. Miyamoto liked the Rabbids, so I think that's why he was more lenient to let him go with it. He was like a fan of the Rabbids beforehand, so I think that was one of the reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, I can see that.
Is there any fighting in this Shadowgate game?
Yes.
I've been skipping through like this 3-hour like playthrough, and I just see a couple talking heads and a lot of
there's a lot of exploration and a lot of decision making. This is an old school RPG. There's a lot more fighting in the Elder Scrolls series than this, and there might have been a sequel I don't know about, but that one, it was very decision oriented and make sure you choosing to go the right direction, a lot of exploration and a little bit of combat.
Yeah, I saw a scene in this game where there was a big sword, and it wasn't like that big. It was like actually probably like a normal sword, or
it just looks big for N64. Yeah,
right. And they were like, "Oh, this is definitely too big
swords
for you to use in battle." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay." I guess.
Yeah, there are battles. Yes, there are battles.
The toothpick in battle, then I guess.
Yeah, you do. The one of the first swords you can use is pretty damn small. We might call it a dagger. But I mean, I guess to them it's a sword that we get. I don't know. It's the N64 days were a bit wonky.
Is there any lore on the character being a dwarf? Because if he's a dwarf, a dagger is a sword for him, or a hobbit.
Oh, geez. Well, I can't find the one I was thinking of, so I'll just throw a brief shot at Pokemon Stadium. Really loved
I didn't get
Pokemon
much
back in the
further.
day. Pokemon Stadium and even the Stadium 2, both of them were really, really fun. The mini games are great, and it was the first time, like back then, that you really truly felt like you were becoming a Pokemon master. And I'm not even sure why, because in the games you had to go through, beat the gyms and the Elite Four and all that back then. And okay, I'm kind of doing the same thing again, except now it's in 3D and it feels badass, even more badass.
But I could also do it against my friends.
And
in
yeah, you
3D.
can do it against your friends, and
Yeah.
they can bring their Pokemon in for
Right.
their game, and you in for your game, and go against each other in a 3D. And then the mini games again. Look, I'm a sucker for mini games. The Mario Party ones, these dude, mini games are amazing, and that's why I kept saying, like, if Princess Peach just ends up being like 20 mini games, 20 levels of like just little mini games, like the cake stuff, kick ass, dude. Like I'm all for. That's why I like the WarioWare series. Like, I love the little mini games. I even was a fan back in the day. I mean, this isn't N64, but remember those the what is it, the Rabbids party game or whatever they had at one point on Wii
Yeah.
or something? Dude,
There's like 3 of them on the Wii.
yeah, dude. I don't know. I know they're not great, but the mini games were fun. I love the mini games. The actual core game in between the mini games wasn't too great, but the mini games, they had some good ideas. And the Wii was the maestro of lots of mini game collectors, and there were definitely a lot of bad ones. But the good ones, Anyway, so
How did they handle Pokemon Stadium on the Switch Online app when it came to playing with other people? Can you just not do it, or how do you
That's a good
connect?
question.
I don't remember.
I know you can't transfer any Pokemon in. You're stuck with just the default.
Is it just kind of somebody else grabs another controller? I guess, right?
I
They
don't
can't
know.
like bring their Pokemon over to play with you. There's not like a online thing, is there?
My Switch just died me. Oh, that's just wanted to be weird.
I can't imagine the Pokemon Company would have went to the effort of putting like some extensive online multiplayer thing in that. But
So
who
it's on
knows?
my
Maybe-
Joy-Con. Oh no,
maybe
my
they-
Switch is broken. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm actually gonna go find out right now. I'm just gonna load it up. I'm actually
You
very curious.
You two are in the same room.
I
Let's
got
see some
Eric in the
Pokemon
same
battles.
room. I
Yeah,
can
right?
hand him a controller.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I got my Switch.
Yeah, he's got his Switch too. Does it have online? Let's go. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I haven't actually
Is
tried.
there wireless play where you can?
I don't know. I'm gonna load up Pokemon Stadium right now. Oh, also I was talking about Pokemon Stadium because I forgot it's Blastoise and Charizard on the cover,
Oh, yeah.
or like my two favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like
Tropical
gonna-
Meowth. Tropical Meowth is my favorite
Tropical-
Pokemon. What's his
Tropical
name?
Meowth.
He looks all
Oh.
sassy.
Is that the Alola one?
Yeah. think
Yeah, I
he's
don't
my
remember the
favorite.
name, but yeah.
He's a more
Dark
modern
Meowth.
one, I think. Yeah. He looks all like sassy. I'm a fan of his.
Overhagen. I totally forgot about that name.
Mhm.
His account name Overhagen. We used to create and we're getting a college game again, so we can create again. We used to create players in the college football game, and there would always be Schmitty Overhagen.
Oh,
Why
you know what?
Why? Because
Bama
Not Fat
Hut.
Castle, Little.
yeah, right. That castle.
Bama Hut in the chat actually brings up a pretty good thing that I don't know why I forgot about this, but he's like talking about playing online Mario Party, and you can play the Mario Party games online on the 64 app. So I imagine
Yeah.
Pokemon, if it has multiplayer, I'd imagine you can do the same. It'd be very
Well,
weird if you
Probably
could.
can.
2-player battle. Let's see here.
I mean, let me just
One,
try it
one
now.
player one versus player two. Okay, so how does this work? I haven't done anything yet. Okay, I can select my Pokemon. Do I just?
I actually
is it
never go
controllers?
online with my apps, even though I could.
Yeah, I was playing Mario Party Superstars online for a while, but then I just decided to start playing against the computer because it was
Okay.
easier.
I'm pretty sure it's just 2 players. Let's see here. Let me select my Pokemon. You can't know. You don't look. You can't know what Pokemon I'm selecting.
Oh, Nate, we should battle each other.
Yeah, I think you'd be able to connect online. Like if Mario Party has
I
it.
just didn't.
I don't know if I selected the right
I don't
one.
know which one I'm selecting.
I don't know which one's B. This feels like I need 2 N64 controllers right now. This is very hard with Joy-Cons. There are 6 options. I do not have 6 buttons.
Sure.
Shake the controller.
Neither do I.
Shake.
Bulbasaur?
Shake it.
Did you
Yes,
select
shake.
Bulbasaur? Or did I select Bulbasaur? I have no idea.
Well, somebody's getting their arse kicked. Oh, that would be me probably.
Okay, I think I'm Bulbasaur. I think.
I don't have an L.
Yeah, you
we
do.
got-
I
have
own
no
our up
idea.
here.
How to do that.
Paperboy 64.
Oh, you got to hold it down
Oh.
and then select.
All
Okay.
right. Okay.
Yep. Got it. Yes. Okay. There is local multiplayer confirmed.
Confirmed.
Oh,
Got it.
local, yeah, but how about online?
I don't know about online. They didn't give me any online option.
I don't know what.
Oh no, you know why?
just-
Because
I
you have
barely
to in the
He's-
menu of the Switch Online app, the 64 Online app, you have to go to the online
Yeah,
play with the
I
people.
see
That's
that
probably
now.
why. Yeah,
That
that's
is what it
probably
is.
So there you go. You guys can be playing. Look at that. Those are actually pretty good character models for an N64 game.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna finish off this battle. I guess. Is that doing it for this section? I think we're good. Besides the Q&A. There's one part of the Q&A I definitely want, Josh. I hear there's this question from Nintendo Prime.
Okay, I'll wait for this. I'll stick around for this.
Just this one particular question. I'm just gonna get it out there now because I know time crunch over there. What character you haven't cosplayed that you want?
Okay.
I
Well, I
had
haven't
to word it weird because I couldn't fit enough characters in the damn thing.
Well, you might actually like this answer. I am drawing up. I've started drawing up a pattern to do a lot of recreations of the clothing in Tears of the Kingdom, because I will play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and like for like 30 minutes, I'll just mess around with different like clothing, get Link's Riz going. So yeah, I like the. I'm doing this. I think it's called Snow Quill, right? The Snow Quill stuff. I want to make that in real life.
Ooh.
So that would be the answer to that. But yeah, there's so much cool clothing and gear in Tears of the Kingdom. I think it definitely needs to be made in real life. So that's certainly something I want to do. I mean, I was Peter Pan 10 years ago. Peter Pan's very close to Link. So if I shave, I can kind of maybe get the vibe going there.
You can definitely do it.
I think
Easy.
Link is definitely inspired by Peter Pan. I think Mr. Miyamoto said that.
Yeah.
Because like Navi is like Tinkerbell. He's got like the green.
It's very obvious.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely gonna be doing some Zelda cosplay stuff this year. I'm
Dude,
excited.
these controls are so bad.
Yeah. Like I can't choose.
I can only
two.
choose
Yeah.
two attacks.
Yeah.
It won't
Holding
let me
that
choose
thing-
the other two.
Holding
No,
that thing
you
on
only
its
choose-
side.
Only lets you choose one of two.
Yeah, I can only choose two, and one of mine's disabled because he confused me. Anyways,
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, Link.
I
Yeah, that's
can't think
great.
of any
Work.
cosplays I'd want to do. I'm not really much of a cosplayer.
I know you're not much of one, but like if you had to,
You got to go
Well,
with Zero. Do a male version of Zero Suit Samus.
Why
I mean,
is
There
what?
you go.
Listen, on stream on Monday, people were like, "Yo, you should wear Zero Suit Samus while playing Zelda." I'm like,
yes. We're gonna get this going. I actually have two latex Zero Suit like male versions.
yeah, see, he's got one you can borrow. He's already ready to go.
Are we planning a collab? Is this what's going on?
We're doing a Zero Suit
My
collab. Prime
God.
4.
All right, I better start going to the gym more often. Yeah.
I want to
Cool.
I want to customize a Zero Suit that actually has like glowing in like the symbols
Ooh.
in the back. Like get some
That would be pretty cool.
some LED stuff going. I think that'd be awesome.
You
So-
want to also be really neat if we find like new lore in Prime 4 where actually all the Federation troopers wear something like the Zero Suit under their armor.
So that was kind of my head canon. Like I wasn't pretending
Yeah.
to be Samus when we're in. I was kind of thinking like, it's like a Chozo, right? Isn't that who gave it to her? Like the Chozo symbol, right? They're like birds. They look kind of like birds.
The
Am I
Choso
wrong?
did give her her power suit, but
Right,
the
right.
Federation have their own, or
Like Zero
maybe
Suit.
we don't know what they have under their suits, but they do try and emulate Samus a little bit. But although that's an interesting perspective though, because what if there was a male
version
power
of Samus,
suit user, which is kind of Metroid Dread kind of touches on that a little bit because you know the final boss has similar powers to Samus.
Okay.
Um,
I need to play Metroid Dread. I only played the demo. I never actually bought it, but I think I need to do that before Prime 4. Give it a chance. Check it out.
oh, it's so good.
Pretty cool. I did Puerto Rican ass,
Pokemon.
Puerto Rican,
I like it.
yeah, Puerto Rican ass Ketchum one time. It was my first time dressing up as anything.
Did you go to a convention like a PAX or something?
Yeah, I just did it from I'm out here and
Okay.
yeah, like kind of like
Yeah.
up here.
Nice.
I have cosplayed as Luffy before from One Piece, and that was when I went to Comic Con a few years ago.
I would say you'd be a good Luffy.
Oh,
There you
and
go.
I tried to do Mario.
Yeah, you still
But it
have the
looks
straw
more like
hat.
Wario.
I have it. I could do it again.
You
Yeah.
still have yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
that Mario creeps me out. I think
Exactly.
it
It
reminds
was like
me
Wario.
of a certain
Actually, I
video
have been-
Nintendo bought and tried to do a race.
One time I was forced to dress up as Luigi.
Forced.
I was forced. Yes,
How-
because, well, I mean, it was at a job I had, and there was a Halloween party, and they were like, "You didn't dress up." I'm like, "No." Okay, well, here's clothes. You're gonna be Luigi, and I'm like, "All right." And it worked. I wore overalls and green and a hat, and kind of worked.
Did you do the voice? Did you get into character?
A little bit. I can't. I don't. A little bit. I
Oh,
wasn't good at
let's
it.
go! Oh, Luigi! Yeah.
That's a very good voice. Yeah.
Nice.
This is my audition. If the
Okay.
new guy is not going to do it anymore, I'm going to jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cosplay is
Cosplay. Eric, what would you cosplay as if you had to?
Zero Suit Samus. We're all doing Zero Suit Samus.
Hell yeah.
All right. Got a whole squad.
I would do The Rock,
What, Dwayne?
not the way The Rock Johnson.
Like, wait a second. That's not that hard to do. Unless you're gonna
Oh,
get
you
ripped
should
again.
dress up as Kirby.
Tears of the Kingdom, dude. I do pick Kirby. Yeah, the what's his name? The Rock from Tears of the Kingdom. The Rock guy.
Goron?
Goron. There you go. There you go.
Goron?
Yunubo.
Okay.
Yunubo.
You know,
Specifically Yunubo.
No, yeah.
Or do you want to be Daruk or
No.
Darunia? You want to be one of the more badass like Gorons.
I would go for Daruk. Yeah, Daruk is better.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling the Kirby.
Look, I'm
idea.
already on record
Imagine
on one of my
someone-
live streams where Josh was there that I said Zero Suit because one of my goals in my weight loss is to actually look good, as good as he does wearing Zero Suit. So
There you go. I mean, listen, you can do it, man.
I've done Super Mario.
Getting
Super
there.
Mario World. Super Mario World from. So yeah,
Oh, you got the cape going there. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
same costume.
I don't think you can do any more.
And then I actually bought I bought a bootleg Super Mario mascot costume.
Okay.
Let's see here. Look for
Oh, you know who I would do? Oh, or at least I think you know what it is for me. Like I feel like I have to kind of look like the character. If I don't look like the character, I don't think I can do it.
Mhm.
That's just the me thing. I probably could get away with. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll dress up as Spyro. That's a joke. Anyway, maybe like Dark Pit. I could do Dark
You could
Pit.
you could pull off Dark Pit.
Yeah.
How come you're not wearing this costume right now for the podcast?
I had an
Right.
idea with the controls.
I mean, I thought that I don't see the difference. That just looks like Mike.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I thought like that's the same as the last photo you showed me.
I just see a selfie.
Yeah, man. That's basically it.
I really have one more question, and then we're kind of done. Although, shout out to Bama Hut earlier for the 5 gifted members,
Nice.
buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Oh,
much,
yeah,
dude.
Bama.
Appreciate the support. Saffron City, good friend of the channel and monthly guest. She'll be back on April 10th, I believe, is her next episode. She says, "Do we think GameCube is going to come to NSO eventually?"
Yes, it's coming.
Not
in
on Switch
April.
One.
April.
I'm gonna actually go out on a limb and say that Nintendo, for a long time, is probably not going to offer GameCube as like a virtual console kind of a deal, or the NSO thing. And I think the reason for that is because Nintendo looks at the GameCube games as being too modern to offer in like a large collection for such a cheap price. And then you look at what they do with like the Thousand Year Door, Metroid Prime, they can remake them and make a lot more money off them that way. So I think with like N64, Super Nintendo, NES, and all that, those are so old that like, you know, offering them in this service is probably better. But with the GameCube, I think it's probably not something they would do because they're pretty stingy with this kind of stuff. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I do also think it's worth mentioning that they've been doing N64 Virtual Console since the Wii,
Since the Wii, yeah.
right? So that
Mhm.
came out 2006, and that was what a long time ago, almost 20 years ago.
I don't want to imagine how long that was. That's
And
way
yet
too long ago.
GameCube is still not old enough to be on Virtual Console.
Right. I think it's because if you look at like Mario Sunshine or a lot of these games that were big on the GameCube, they still could pass as a game today if they had
Absolutely.
upgraded graphics. I think it's just we got to that point where control and a lot of stuff just felt modern enough now to where they're a little indistinguishable under the hood from a modern game. So I think being like, hey, pay, you know, $60 a year and you'll get 20 GameCube games and all these, I don't think Nintendo is going to do that. They can make a lot more
Yeah, I
money.
agree.
I still think I think GameCube can make it on NSO, and I think they can be very, very strategic about it. not every game will make a remake. Not every game will get a remaster. For example, Animal Crossing, the very first game, perfect going for NSO. You know what I mean? And a lot of other games like Smash Bros. Melee, perfect game for NSO with online play.
Wave Race Blue Storm.
Yeah,
That would be a good match.
There's a lot of games that
Cubivore.
they don't take center stage sometimes. But
Cubivore is like $200 on eBay, by the way.
Yeah, will be great games for NSO.
Custom Robo. We now gotta have a GameCube episode.
I want a new Kirby Air Ride.
Games like that, yeah. Games.
I actually think that could be remastered.
Yeah, Kirby Air Ride could.
Yeah.
City Trial Online. City Trial mode online would be amazing.
But I am on the train that GameCube will make it to NSO, whether it's this year or next year for Switch 2.
Oh, that soon? Do you think it's gonna be like launch and Switch 2? Okay.
I think GameCube will eventually make it, because right now we are in the era of backwards compatibility in the way of subscription service, just like PlayStation is doing with their and Xbox is doing with Game Pass. And so I don't think Nintendo is gonna. I don't think they want to lose on that revenue by having. They already have a subscription service with 150 million accounts, so they can take that.
Does Game Pass make Microsoft money? Is that like financially good for them?
I mean, they get paid by subscription.
I don't know.
Membership.
I'm not sure. Like, because we gotta look. I think we gotta take a close look at the financials, because I don't it seems like a good idea, but also it's an extremely good deal because people are able to play a lot of games for not a lot of money.
Right. And Nintendo is not the kind of company. I mean, they sold Mario versus Donkey Kong for $50. I love that game. And even I'm like, wait, what?
I don't see Nintendo going
Damn
as far
you and your evade.
Yeah, I don't see Nintendo going as far
Could
as
you even call all 4 of your attacks? I can only do 3 of mine. You bastard.
Sorry.
Who won that one?
Dude,
Did
Eric did, because I could pick my attacks. I could. Oh man! Then I found out it's a shift alternator to pick, which is the plus button, and then you can't bring up the attack menu while you're doing it, so you don't know what
use
you're
the
picking.
Joy-Cons.
Eric,
Joy-Cons are brutal in this game. Oh my god!
Eric, there's always an excuse, isn't there? There's always an
him.
excuse.
100%. Yeah, but I take my L's. Last time it was what 3 shots of tequila in a row, puking on stream. That was fun.
Yeah,
that was nice. Well, I think I'm gonna call my
that's it anyways. Thank you guys so much for being here. That is the Nintendo Prime Podcast, Season 2, Episode 64. We'll go around quick, just let people know where they can find you, and we'll head on out. We'll start with our guest, Josh. Where can they find you, buddy?
Okay, well, they can find me right here on YouTube at the BitBlock. Unless I change the name for the 50th time, in which case it'll be something else. No, it'll be the BitBlock here on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's about it. I don't. Oh, Instagram as well. I guess I'm on Instagram with BitBlock too. So, yeah.
Nice. Let's see here. Andres Restart. Where can they find you? What do you got going on?
Andres Restart. That's me on the YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter and other places. I probably won't actually give you a butterscotch. I just felt like writing that as the subtitle today.
I want a butterscotch.
Yeah, me too. Actually, they're pretty good. Tomorrow night, I am starting a Tears of the Kingdom challenge run. So I explained the details on my channel on the community post today. But basically, what we're going to do. So I'm just going to stream Tears of the Kingdom, for the next few weeks. But every stream, there's going to be new rules implemented. So to start tomorrow, it's going to be, it's going to be a 4-heart challenge. It's the first basic rule. But for the beginning area, just to make it a little bit more interesting, have to play with no clothes in the game. Apparently, that has to be specified now that that's no clothes in the game, I can't fast travel. So that's the initial challenge. But we're going to come up with new rules for every stream to add on top of it to make it harder and harder. So, say for example, maybe after I get the Great Plateau, I won't be able to go into water, right? Or I don't know, I have to dance every time I see a Lionel or something, just different things like that. And it's going to get to the point where it's probably going to be basically impossible to beat the game. But if I get a Sage, I can remove a rule, or I'll engage in some sort of really stupid, bet to get rid of a rule. I don't know, maybe I'll wear a Zero Suit Samus costume for a day. Or, drink 7 shots of tequila, whatever it takes to make the game beatable.
I hate this rule. Can we make a bet right now?
World's hottest chocolate.
World's hottest chocolate. There you
Something
go.
like that, exactly. Like so, the idea is just to make it really fun and challenging at the same time, and we'll see what happens.
Legend of Zelda Naked and
Yeah.
Afraid. Like it.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mike. What you got going on? Where can they find you? When's the Mike Odyssey show starting?
The Mike Odyssey show is starting very soon. You see, there's stuff in the background, like new little gimmicky stuff in the background for this new set. Yeah, Mike Odyssey show is starting very soon. It's still gonna be a new show, but different news and comedy show. With little bits here, maybe some skits here and there. Contests, prizes, guests. Tonight show, Nintendo themed, family friendly show, the Mike Odyssey show. So, and then
Is
Friday
that why
night.
Jake would never be invited because it's family friendly?
Oh yeah, anybody can be invited.
Even Jake?
Yeah, even Jake. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does he have to keep it clean?
It's pre-recorded, so he can say whatever he wants.
Oh,
You'll
okay,
edit
just
it
cut it
out.
out. You can just put like a dolphin noise or something.
There's just nonstop jump cuts of him. Right. You have to put new sentences together.
Censor right there. But yeah, and then every Friday night we have the Nintopic podcast live on the channel, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's only an hour podcast every hour. It could go into an hour and a half, but it's very short, kind of straight to the point. Yeah, so that's what's going on. But until now,
that's pretty good.
until I announced the official date for the new show starting, I have Monday to Friday news, like as usual, and of course the podcast going on. So yeah, check it out. I'm only 3,000 away from 50K. Woo!
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
Go.
Halfway
That's
there,
not
man.
bad. That's not bad.
Halfway there.
Oh, we're halfway there. Just keep it going. Keep it going. I'm Nintendo Prime. You know what's up with you guys? Find me everywhere Nintendo Prime is. Just type Nintendo Prime in. It's probably me. And if it's not me, it's that one YouTube channel that existed before me that hasn't had a video in over 15 years. So,
And I'm here.
and Eric's here with me. Every now and then he walks in the room and
Yep.
Eric.
Fair enough.
Oh my god.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Oh,
Eric, like that show on Parks and Rec. What do you call that?
I don't remember. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
the radio show. Yeah.
Ira and the Dudes. You have to hit the Parks.
Anyways, the podcast is here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. We're counting down. We only have 5 episodes left of season 2, and then some big changes coming in season 3. Shorter show, new segments, new things. It's going to be pretty tight. Andres Restart will be happy about the shorter show part of that.
My sleep clock will be happy.
Your sleep clock will be very happy. We will like it's 10:40 right now. We will very rarely ever be this late unless it's a very special event, like a switch to announcement kind of a special thing. I got a feeling no one's going to want to shut up. But those are rare. We don't have Nintendo Directs and that kind of stuff happening all the time. So most of the episodes are going to be 2 hours or less. So it's going to be pretty cool. That being said, thank you so much for being here. It's been real. We'll be back live tomorrow. Again, 8 p.m. Central, maybe a smidge earlier. I don't really know. And I might be debating Andres Restart next week at some point if it happens.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it was almost going to happen today, but things happen. So
Yeah.
all right, guys,
Conflict.
we'll catch you later. Let me go ahead and slap this outro because I don't know, it's an outro.